What's up, Chaos Shinobi here. This is what if Naruto was God of Storms. Summary: Naruto had a hidden power that came to be when he fought Mizuki, a bloodline he never knew of. Then he would be known as the Kaze no Arashi, the windstorm. Chapter 11. The sound ringing through the forest, the beginning of the clash. Mitarashi Anko was rushing through the forest of death, finding the bodies of the grass ninja outside the forest gate, with the one she was most suspicious of having their face gone was the one who gave her kunai back. She scowled as she ran, knowing that this Shinon was really Orochimaru. It's time that I finish him off, Anko thought as she landed on a tree branch with Orochimaru behind her. Right, Orochimaru? Impossible, the heavy Sennin said as he unleashed his tongue at his former disciple, and Anko saw that it had wrapped around her arm. She grew a serious expression as she looked at Orochimaru. Hidden shadow snake hands. Snakes struck at Orochimaru's tongue as Anko pushed him from the tree he was merged into and bashed him into a branch on the tree she was on. Orochimaru go up and rushed at her, roughly pushing her into a tree. Anko winced before whipping around Orochimaru, holding Orochimaru's hand against the tree, and stabbed both of their hands into the tree with a kunai. She made a hand sign combined with Orochimaru's hand and he looked shocked. "You're not," Orochimaru said with wide eyes. "We'll die together," Anko said smiling as she looked confidently in her former teacher's eyes. Twin snakes mutual death technique. "Sorry, but neither of us will die today, Anko-chan." A familiar chuckle flooded Anko's ears as she turned her head furiously at the maker of the sound, Orochimaru the Great Snake. "That is but a shadow clone." It vanished out of existence, shocking Anko and making her eyes widen in fear, but then, they gained their fury. "Why are you here? To assassinate the Hokage?" Anko said furiously as Orochimaru removed the face of the dead grass ninja, showing his sinister face. "I was merely giving a parting gift to a Jonin here in the Chunin exams, like the one I gave to you." Anko's eyes widened in realization of why he was here and what he did, while Orochimaru chuckled madly. "He is an elite, an Uchiha, a beautiful body he has, perfect body for me." "The boy will most likely die, he has almost no chance to live," Anko said to Orochimaru. "Or he could live like you did, Anko," Orochimaru said as he vanished from Anko's sight. "Don't spoil my fun or the village of Konohagakure will be nothing more than rubble and corpses." Orochimaru's light chuckle was all Anko heard before rushing to the Hokage, going to tell him what was happening. Orochimaru was here. 30. "Goddamn, where is Kisuke at?" A female voice yelled out into the forest, causing birds to fly from their homes into the sky overhead. "He only said he wanted to check out some Konohagakure crowd and hunt for a scroll. He's probably lost, that baka." "Well, it's nice to hear you care about me so, Hikari," the revealed Kisuke said with mock hurt and fake streaming tears, having a head of spiky black hair and cerulean eyes. His dual blades were in their sheaths, clothed after revealing themselves to the Namikaze he faced. "And I found out some good information on one of the Konohagakure ninjas and I was going to share too." "Just tell me, you irritating baka," she yelled again, her long blonde hair whipping around her like it was a whip that she held, angrily lashing at the wind. "Should I?" Kisuke asked himself, turning his head in thought, finger on his chin. "You did insult me when I was just trying to help and see what kind of people were on the other teams." "Just tell her, Kisuke." A boy with thin-framed, black glasses and slicked-back spiky black hair appeared before the two, hands in his pockets and his cool eyes staring at Kisuke's intensely. "She won't stop nagging you until you do. Plus I'm curious of what you saw that made you want to go on and see the competition. It seemed like there was only one that mainly caught your eyes." "You always were observant, eh, Washimura?" Kisuke grinned at his teammate before changing into a serious face. "I found a member of one of the Konoha teams that has a Namikaze in it." This got both of them to gape at their teammate. "I thought that the fourth was the only one left alive of that clan," Hikari said, her silver-gray eyes widening in shock. "It seems that the fourth could have had a son or a daughter before he died at the hands of the nine-tailed fox. He could have also sealed the Kyuubi inside the boy like how Roshi and Han hold the 4 tails and 5 tails inside of them," Washimura said, causing Kisuke's eyes to widen in realization. "That makes complete sense. That Namikaze might be Konohagakure's Jinchuriki, the container of the Kyuubi, and the son of the Yondaime Hokage," Kisuke said, though inside his thoughts he knew because he saw the boy have the clever eyes of a kitsune when he started to transform. "We'll keep an eye on him later," Hikari said as she looked at her teammates. "Let's get to the tower. Washimura got the earth scroll that we needed. He can watch the boy over when we do the 3rd exam if they pass. It seems his team has that arrogant-looking Uchiha and that pink-haired civilian. I don't know their skill sets or the Jinchurikis, but they seem like a team that butts heads often." "You go on to the tower," Kisuke said, racing into the direction of Team 7. I want to see something before I meet you at the tower. I'll be there, so don't worry about me dying. I won't worry even if you die, Baka, Hikari yelled at his retreating form. So get back here. Let him go, Hikari, Washimura said softly to her. Actually, I want to see this team that is interested our teammate as well. Let's go with him. It'll be better to be together anyway. Washimura raced to Kisuke's location as Hikari sighed and followed. I have a team of Bakas. 30. Rock Lee was on a youthful walk as he and Guy, his sensei, would call it. That meant a furious rush through the woods at speeds that would make a certain blue, video game hedgehog look like he was in slow motion when he blurred across the screen. Lee stopped at a branch, wondering where other teams could be after he, Tenten, and Neji gathered supplies for the exam to hold them together. He suddenly found a dashing squirrel with a blazing paper bomb attached to its tiny back. Lee lunged from the tree and grabbed the squirrel quickly as he tore the paper bomb from its small furry body and crushed it up in his hand before throwing it on the ground. How unyouthful of someone putting a paper bomb on this youthful squirrel, Lee said, looking at the crying rodent that looked deeply into Lee's round eyes. The squirrel went onto Lee's shoulder and Lee smiled at it. All right. You can hitch a ride for now. Lee's eyes blazed with determination. Let's go. Let's say the squirrel had to hand on for its dear life. 30. Neji looked slightly at the bush and smirked arrogantly. These rookies are pathetic, not even worth my time. They try to hide, but do they even know about the Hyuga's Byakugan? I could easily see them with that, even if they were hiding fairly well. So pathetic. Come out of there. Damn it, this is troublesome. We got caught by the wrong guy. Shiokumaru sighed in annoyance. Well, Ino, what are we going to do? Choji asked, sweating in fear. It looks like we'll have to do plan B, Ino said as Shikamaru sighed again. Fine, Shikamaru said as they rose from the bush they were hiding from their brilliant plan ready to go into action. Oh. I didn't think we would get to see last year's #1 rookie, Hyuga Neji-sama here, Ino exclaimed. Can I get your autograph, Neji-sama? Shikamaru exclaimed while on the inside he was shaking in nausea at what he had to say. This is humiliating. Neji had a deadpan expression on his face. Oh, you guys. Ino smirked at her plan. Time to pull out all the stops. She undid her ponytail, looked sexily at Neji while the background somehow changed to a dazzling white with sparkles around the young kunoichi. I've always wanted to get to know you better. Neji turned away. Get lost. What? Why did my sexiness not work? This plan was foolproof, damn it. Foolproof, I say. The Yamanaka thought, shaking her fist in anger. So do you want to fight? Is that why you are shaking your fist in my direction? Neji asked, not even turning. No, not at all, Ino said, laughing. Does he have eyes in the back of his head or something? Then, get lost, Neji said looking back at them. Yes, sir, they said, rushing into the bushes. Neji's sweat dropped at their display. They're like cockroaches. He, then, went on his way. 30. Sakura was worn out, staying up for hours in order to keep Naruto and Sasuke safe. That squirrel earlier almost triggered her trap that she had set in case a group of ninja came. She then heard chuckling and a voice saying, "Up all night?" causing her to turn to the ninja to see the auto ninja staring at her. It's no longer necessary to keep Sasuke asleep. We wish to fight him. Dosa spoke as Sakura quickly pulled out a kunai. I know someone named Orochimaru is pulling the strings around here. I want to know why he gave that weird mark to Sasuke-kun. What does he want? Why do you want to fight when you guys did this to him? Tell me now, Sakura yelled at them, causing them all to have widened eyes and step back a little. I wonder what he is planning. That Orochimaru, Dosa said to himself, causing Sakura to look at him, puzzled. Hearing all that, it just makes me want to kill this girl and that Sasuke guy too. We can't let you go, Zaku said, staring at Sakura fiercely with an evil grin. Wait, Zaku, Dosa said to cause Zaku to stare at their leader angrily. What? You're not very good, girl, Dosa said as he approached the grass the squirrel was going to step over. There's grass where it usually doesn't grow. Your booby trap is a failure. Sakura looked surprised, which caused Dosa to grin in confidence. This girl is of no use to us. Kill her. They charged in as Sakura had a hidden grin and swiped a string held down a hidden kunai behind her side, revealing a giant log before the trio, shocking them. Very smart, but you still are useless. Dosa made a hand sign and put his other hand on the log. Sound waves tore through the log, causing a huge hole in it that the sound shinobi went through. You have no talent whatsoever, you have to work harder than most shinobi. A weakling like you should never mess with shinobi like us at all. Sakura had tears starting to form in her eyes. I am weak after all. Tree leaf whirlwind. Lee appeared, knocking the three auto ninja out of the way of Sakura, surprising all who were there and up. Lee went in front of Sakura. Then, you guys have to work harder as well. Who might you be? Dosu asked, staring at the odd shinobi before him. Konoha's beautiful green wild beast, Rock Lee, Lee said, staring fiercely at Dosu as he lowered his hand and let the squirrel go. Why are you here? Sakura asked Lee. I'll always be here when you're in danger, Sakura-chan. I said that. I'm like the hero that arrives at the last minute. When Lee said this, he heard a chuckle from inside the tree, surprising both Sakura and Lee. You just had to steal my line, eh, centipede brows. The one who said this stepped into the open and caused Sakura to gasp. Naruto, Sakura exclaimed as Naruto looked at the tired Sakura and frowned. Sakura caught this. What is it, Naruto? Thank you for protecting me and Sasuke while we were out, Sakura-chan, Naruto said, adopting a look of thanks and concern for her. No problem, Naruto, Sakura said with a worn smile as Naruto looked at Lee and smiled. So, you're here on our side now, centipede brows, Naruto grinned in infectious joy as Lee smiled back. Yeah, Naruto-kun, I'm here to help you defend Sakura-chan and even Sasuke, Lee said, holding a thumbs up. Then, let's get started, Naruto said, grinning at Lee before looking at the sound shinobi with the fierce eyes of his father. Time to go wild. Chapter 12, The Beginning of the End, The Curse and Bloodline Awaken. Zaku smirked as Lee and Naruto charged into the battle. Let me handle, Blondie, Dosu. You can handle weirdo right there. Dosu knew he meant Rock Lee. That means useless is left to you, Kin. Kin sighed, I would get her. She ran fast toward Sakura only for Lee to see this. Tree leaf hurricane. The kick landed right on Kin's cheek, causing her to fly back into a tree. I won't let you harm Sakura-chan. Naruto looked slightly to see the grinning Dosu approaching Lee, fist coiled back. Naruto's eyes widened as he yelled. Lee, dodge. Lee quickly got back to paying attention as he dodged before the punch was thrown and coiled his own fist back to land a fast punch on the sound ninja. Dosu dodged the punch and was about to strike when Lee put his fist on the ground and shoved up a giant part of a tree trunk. This shocked everyone there at how strong Rock Lee was. I know there's some trick to your attacks. I know that I can simply dodge as I did just earlier all the time, or you'll hit me with the jutsu you used on the person wearing glasses, Lee said, rocks scattering around him from the force he used to pull the structure from the ground. At least I have Naruto to help me out of trouble if things get very ugly. After all, there's still 3 of them and 2 of us excluding Sakura-chan, who looks worse than anybody here besides Sasuke. I might have to get serious here, Lee said, staring fiercely at the auto ninja, seeing Naruto charge into action. 30. Arg. We can't find any weaklings at all, yelled a frustrated Ino as Shikamaru sighed, irritated by his female devil-like teammate. I told you already, the only team that we could probably be weaker than us is Naruto's team, Shikamaru said as Ino glared at him fiercely in pure anger. Baka. Forehead Girl and Naruto are losers, but Sasuke's a genius, Ino yelled at Shikamaru. There's no way Sasuke could lose. Choji looked shocked at what he saw. Sasuke's out cold. This caused Ino to glare at him. And Sakura is fighting. This made Ino say, not very intelligent, huh? As Shikamaru sighed at his teammate. She's always so troublesome. Shikamaru thought as he looked at the sky, wanting to just see the clouds roll by. He sighed again. I probably won't be able to relax until after the exam is over. More troublesome things. 30. Neji-kun. Lee isn't here. He must have had trouble getting here. You know he's always on time no matter what. Tenten said to her teammate. She gasped as she thought. Could he have encountered some enemies? Neji smiled, trying to make Tenten feel more relaxed. That's unlikely. Either way, we'll go search for Lee. Tenten nodded, yeah. The duo raced into the branches of the tree, searching for their teammate. 30. Sorry, Guy-sensei. It seems that it has come the time to use that. He looked at Dosu, unraveling the wrappings around his arms a little. I am protecting someone precious to me. Lee raced with speed so unknown that Dosu was frozen in shock as the boy kicked Dosu up into the air and appeared behind Dosu. He stared to wrap his bandages around the sound Jinan in a fast pace before he wrapped his arms around him, sending them both headfirst into the hard ground. Zaku cursed as he dodged Naruto's punch and started making hand signs. Shit. He can't protect himself at all like that. Take this. Front Lotus. Lee thought as he and Dosu collided with the hard ground, dust appearing after their collision. Zaku smiled. Looks like I made it in time. Lee looked confused as he raced back to guard Sakura. Naruto took the time to make a few hand signs and blow in air. Wind release, vacuum sphere. He let the blasts of air loose only for Zaku to pull out both of his hands and smirk as strong slices of wind hit the blasts Naruto made, canceling them out. Lee was shocked when Dosu rose out of the pile of dirt Zaku made. That was a terrifying technique. Still did quite a bit of damage considering I landed on a soft sponge of dirt. He looked at Lee, raising his arm with the metal amplifier on it. My turn now. He rushed at the weakened Lee who couldn't move as Naruto saw this, yet he was still exhausted from the battle with Orochimaru. Lee dodged the technique because he had no choice, as he would have had the fist collide on its own if he hadn't dodged it. Lee was shocked when he felt disoriented, not being able to see Dosu clearly, merely seeing a smudge light being in the shape of Dosu. My techniques will show you that even if your moves are at high speed, mine are at the speed of sound. I'll show you the wall you can't pass with just hard work. Lee was shaking, throwing out bile from his mouth, his ear bleeding, causing Sakura to yell his name in concern. Naruto rushed out to Lee, only to be stopped by Kin and Zaku. "We won't let you interfere, loser," Zaku said with a smirk. "You can't dodge my techniques at all," Dosu said with a twisted smile. "What did?" Sakura said in thought, trying to figure out what he did to Lee. "It's sound. Even if you dodge my fist, sound will hit you for sure." Sakura's eyes widened in realization. "You use sound vibrations and chakra to target Lee's ear to disrupt his sense of balance." "Correct," Dosu said as Zaku smirked. "Taijutsu is useless against us, even your high-powered techniques. I can control air pressure to do things you can only dream of, since you seem to only use exceedingly powerful taijutsu." Zaku smirked while Lee shook in anger, frustration and from the sound wave effects. "Now, your turn," Dosu said, racing to Sakura. "Damn it, move. Damn it," Lee thought, forcing his body to move in front of Sakura, shocking everyone. "Hey! Where did that blonde brat go?" Zaku yelled as his eyes widened at the serious-looking Naruto approaching Dosu, wind whipping fiercely around his fist. Dosu just hit Lee, causing the ninja to scream and fall into unconsciousness as Naruto was right behind him. "Say good night, you filthy son of a bitch," Naruto yelled out, his teeth forming a dam, causing a very surprised Dosu to turn and be hit down to the ground with Naruto's fist of wind. Naruto pounded the ground in defeat at what he saw when the smoke cleared around him. A bunch of shredded and torn tree stumps. "Damn it, he used substitution on me. I wasn't focused at all." He saw Sakura in front of him, eyes wide at seeing Dosu, angrily approaching Naruto from behind. "Naruto!" she shrieked before deciding on something as she thought. "I have to show them I am strong. I can't rely on Sasuke-kun, Naruto or even Lee. I have to show them I can stand on my own feet. I can be strong. I will be strong. I am strong." Shanaro. She channeled all of her chakra into her right fist, glaring fiercely at Dosu. She also sent chakra to her feet to increase her speed, rushing past Naruto and landing the hurtful punch right into Dosu's bandaged face. Dosu was knocked back toward Kin and Zaku, shocking everyone there, as they all stared in disbelief at the smirking, huffing Kunoichi with long, pink hair and determined yet weakening emerald eyes, her fist in a stance of victory. "Shanaro, bastard," she said, softly in a tone that meant she knew she did good for once. She fell into unknown arms as she felt a presence that made her shiver. It was the darkest feeling she felt since Zabuza, since that Orochimaru. She looked up, thinking she would see Sasuke, seeing his cargo shorts, only to gasp at the face she saw on the boy's face. It was a wicked face, it was the face of Orochimaru. She only thought of the demented Sennin when she saw that face, twisted dark marks all over his body, causing her life to fall into the abyss. "Sasuke-kun," she said in a weak hopeful voice, hoping for him to glare at her and tell her he didn't want a date with her and that she was useless to the team. She didn't care what he said, as long as he was Sasuke, the Sasuke she knew. "Sakura," a dark voice said, looking at her with no expression whatsoever, "who did this to you?" Sasuke was gone. 30. "You always act recklessly, Kisuke," Hikaru yelled at the boy ahead of her. "What's so amazing about this Namikaze guy?" Washimura sighed as he was in the middle of his teammates. "I better summon an eagle to scout ahead." He bit his finger and went through the series of hand signs that were needed before he put his hand on a branch as an eagle screeched when it was summoned. "Go ahead, Washimura, and come back when you see something." "Very well, Washimura," the eagle spoke as it flew ahead of him and his teammates. Washimura picked up pace as he was falling behind. He looked to see that Kisuke was going even faster than before and he sighed in reply. "Don't get too worked up, Kisuke. You won't be able to fight like that." He heard his eagle caw as it approached and told him about the many ninjas up ahead. "This may get really dirty, really fast." Kisuke approached the area he knew the Namikaze was at as he pulled out a kunai and stared fiercely at a group of ninjas before silently flying down to the ground and putting the kunai to one of their necks. This person screamed before Kisuke had covered their mouth. His teammates were behind him. 30. Ino was frightened. First, she was watching Lee and Sakura face down the auto shinobi and Naruto had just came out only to have an unknown shinobi grab her from behind and put a kunai to her neck. Her other teammates stared in shock only for Shikamaru to smirk in success. Shadow imitation technique, success, Shikamaru said, freezing the unknown shinobi, his teammates watching carefully at the Nara. Shadow imitation, the unknown shinobi said as he looked at Shikamaru with piercing blue eyes. You guys must be the Ino Shikacho Trio's kids since you look a lot like they did in the textbook we had at the academy. Shikamaru's eyes widened. Darn it, they know our techniques. They could easily defeat us right now. I have to come out with a plan quickly. I wish you shinobi no harm and neither do my teammates. The unknown shinobi spoke in honesty. I'll even tell you my name and my teammates if you tell me yours and your teammates. Shikamaru looked at the shinobi that wore all black and still held Ino. His eyes shone with honesty just like his voice spoke full of it. Shikamaru sighed at this troublesome situation. Fine, just release our teammate for us. That will be a problem since I just don't want to release her. The shinobi spoke seriously, shocking everyone. After all, she has the beauty of an angel and I can't help but want to keep her in my arms. This was where everyone face faulted to the ground as the shinobi released the blushing Ino who stood in shock at the shinobi, forgetting about Sasuke and Sakura for a moment. What is your name, Haim? The shinobi said, waggling his eyebrow, causing Ino to giggle and his female teammate to get a tick mark. Yamanaka Ino, yours? The blonde girl he once held asked as the shinobi stared at her with mesmerizing blue eyes. Bushido Kisuke, the shinobi said, his spiky hair flowing a little in the air. Nara Shikamaru, sighed the Nara, hand behind his head. Washimura, the shinobi with glasses and a cloak of black said, I have no last name to speak of. Akameki Choji said, munching on little chips he had left. Utsukishi Hikari, a kunoichi wearing a short skirt and a short-sleeved black shirt said as her long hair flowed from side to side, her silver-gray eyes mesmerizing everyone there. Now, what's going on here? Kisuke said as he saw them battle. We'll take care of the sound ninja. He tossed Team 10 a scroll that they had. You can have this scroll. I found it on the way here so you can keep it. We don't need it since we already got our 2. Now go. This is troublesome, but thanks, Shikamaru said as he and his teammates raced toward the tower, luckily holding the scroll they needed. Now, this is interesting, Washimura said, looking at the risen Sasuke, marks surrounding his body. Let's see what happens next, shall we? Let's, Hikari said, looking at the battle about to be finished. 30. Neji stood about to say something, when Sasuke stood, an evil aura about him. I'll let the Uchiha and his teammates settle this match between them and the sound ninja. He looked down at the passed out Lee. Then we'll grab Lee. Tenten looked down at the field of battle, silently taking everything in. Lee. 30. Power. I can feel it inside me. Darkness. I can feel it around me. I was weak. Now I am strong. Black. Where I will go. Snake. He gave me this gift, this power. Mark. This mark is granting my wishes. Power. It is mine now. Mine now. Kill. I can kill him now, Nissan. I can kill Itachi now. I can kill Itachi with this power. Kill. I will kill Itachi. I will conquer him, destroy him for what he did to me. He deserves it. Power. I have power. Sasuke was awoken, marks and smoke surrounding his body like a cloak. His eyes were piercing black holes that tore through anyone he stared at. He set Sakura down and looked at Naruto, smirking at Naruto's shocked look. Dope. Naruto shook to reality, hearing Sasuke's voice. But is this really Sasuke? Naruto shook before staring at his rival, forming a fake smile. Hey, team, you up? Sasuke smirked evilly. Yes, Dope, I am. He raised his hands to look at them, still smirking at the power he felt inside his shell, his body. He gave it to me. This confused Sakura and Naruto. I am an Avenger. Even if I must eat the devil's fruit, I must go down this path to gain power. He looked at Zaku and the other sound shinobi. You said you did this to her? Zaku smirked, answering Sasuke's question as he fiercely looked at the auto ninja, his mark spreading like a fungus on his body, evil black markings covering his body. Dosu shook at the power Sasuke was sending out as Naruto was shocked at Sasuke, huffing out breath since he was running out of chakra. No need to get scared, Dosu. Zaku grinned as he held his hands together and sent his palms out toward Sasuke, causing Dosu to shake even more and his eyes to widen. No, Zaku. Dosu yelled only for Zaku to smirk and laugh as a gigantic blast of air went to Sasuke and his teammates. Extreme decapitating airwaves. Dust and rubble filled the air, causing Kin and Dosu to duck from the attack. Zaku smirked even more when he saw no one there, only to see one Jinan with wind coating his fist. Take this, Naruto yelled, almost his entire chakra supply put into his fist as it hit Zaku, blasting him away when Sasuke caught him with a vicious glare and creepy smile. "You thought you had me?" Sasuke punched the sound ninja back, spit landing out of his mouth, as he was pushed back toward Kin and Dosu. Sasuke made hand signs and blew out many things of fire. Fire release, Phoenix Sage fire technique. Zaku smirked, blowing the fire out as he got up with his air blasts, only to be assaulted by a volley of shuriken throwing stars. Sasuke zoomed in toward Zaku, causing Dosu to yell out, "Zaku, below!" Zaku was surprised when Sasuke gripped his arms from behind, tugging them roughly, causing him to cry out in pain. A wicked grin appeared on Sasuke's twisted face. No, it was Orochimaru's face. That's what Sakura thought. This isn't Sasuke. This can't be Sasuke. No. No, 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 no. Naruto pulled up from the ground, wounded and weak, not able to make it in time to stop Sasuke. Damn it, Sasuke. This isn't you. Sasuke ignored his teammate, grinning like an evil villain. Let's see how you feel when your precious arms you use so much are torn from your body. I'll show you my power. Sasuke-kun. Stop. Sakura ran, which caused Naruto to widen his eyes, fearing Sasuke might lash at Sakura on accident. Damn it. I'm so useless, Naruto cried out, getting almost everyone's attention, his hand outstretched like he wanted to get to the finish line. Why now? Why now? Let me show everyone how strong I can be. Let me stop Sasuke. Let me stop my friend. Naruto heard a vicious pop, a scream and, then, his own scream of "damn it, let me show them my strength." His cry was rewarded as chakra chains appeared out of his fingers, winding around Sasuke and tearing him away from Zaku. Sasuke glared with pure intensity at his teammate, Naruto. "You dumbass, let me finish these bags of trash." Then, he felt familiar arms around him, the chains fading from him. "Sasuke, this isn't you," Sakura said, crying into Sasuke's back. "Stop it. Just stop." Sasuke looked at her as Naruto fell like Zaku, smiling sadly at his attempt to help his teammate and confused about why he had sprouted chains from his fingers. His eyes closed, smiling still as he saw Sasuke's marks recede and he and Sakura fall onto the ground. "Sasuke. We cannot defeat you," Dosu said, pulling out his scroll and pushing it toward Sasuke and Sakura. "Take this as a gift." He grabbed Zaku and went by Kin. "For now, we will go, but next time, we will face you head on. We won't run." "Wait," Sakura yelled out, Dosu turning his head to look at her. "Why was this done to Sasuke-kun by Orochimaru? What does he want with Sasuke-kun?" "I don't know," Dosu said, turning away. "We were merely told to kill him." "What are you planning, Orochimaru?" Dosu went on his way as Neji dropped down from the tree branch to look at them and approach Lee with Tenten. Tenten approached Sakura and Sasuke and grabbed Lee as she started to shake him uncontrollably. "Lee, snap out of it," she yelled as Lee awoke, causing Sakura and Sasuke to sweat drop at what was happening. "Tenten, why are you here? Where are those sound ninja?" Lee asked, looking around. "We came here to save you. Why did you have to do something reckless?" Tenten scolded her teammate as he got up and looked as Sakura and Sasuke approached him. "Lee, I want to thank you for your help. Thanks to you, I was somehow able to awaken and find a way to get stronger." Lee had tears in his eyes and Naruto started to awaken again, still not strong enough to move very much as he listened to the words spoken. "It was not me that did in the sound ninjas, they beat me to a pulp. Sasuke was the one to stop them apparently from what I heard. The Uchiha clan must be strong." Sasuke was shocked. How strong were those sound ninja? "Sakura." Sakura looked at Lee who smiled at her. "The lotus blooms twice. The next time you see me I will be a stronger man. I swear." "Yeah." Sakura smiled at him. Tenten looked at Lee and, then, Sakura as she sighed and went to Neji. "We better get going, Lee. Neji is waiting for us over there," Tenten said, walking to Neji as Lee nodded. "Right, Tenten." He said his goodbyes to Sasuke and Sakura and turned to walk only to spot a weak Naruto, trying to rise from the ground, teeth clenched, only to fall onto the ground again, ignored by everyone around like he was a worthless bug. Lee smiled sadly, seeing him in Naruto's place. "Come on, Lee." "I'm coming, Tenten." He took one more glance at Naruto before going toward Tenten and Neji and taking off. 30. "You guys go to the tower with our 2 scrolls and wait for me. I'll be there when I'm done. I want to talk to this Kaze," Kisuke said, looking deeply at Naruto. "All right," Hikari said as she and Washimura agreed and took off. Kisuke got out of the bushes, unknown to Sasuke and Sakura, who were turned talking to each other, when Kisuke grabbed Naruto and pulled him up from the ground and covered his mouth from speaking. "I won't harm you or your teammates, Namikaze. I only wish to speak to you and not your teammates Sakura and this Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto nodded as Kisuke released his grip, only to see a rushing Sakura and Sasuke, ready to hit him. He sighed and yelled, "I'm only here to talk to the blonde." Sasuke and Sakura stopped to look at Kisuke as he talked to Naruto. "How are you, the son of the fourth?" This caused Naruto's eyes to turn into the likeness of Minato Namikaze's. Kisuke looked at him. "I see now." This caused Naruto to look confused. "Your eyes hold your father and yourself. Sometimes, you seem like what I think the fourth is, a serious shinobi. I never saw the fourth Hokage. I only heard stories from the cage in my village." "Then, how do you know my father?" Naruto asked, only to see that Kisuke's eyes turned into black holes of sadness and emptiness, like his own. "Your father killed my clan." Chapter 13. The training to change. The third exam preliminaries finally begin. Naruto stood in a clearing, surrounded by his own clones by the tower in the middle of the Forest of Death, arriving there a few days early. That's when Naruto decided to train after seeing how weak he still was, even if he had not used many of his shinobi tools like all the different tags and seals he crafted and held in his pouch. He also learned that he had not one, but two bloodlines, the mastery of wind from the Namikaze and the chakra chains from his mother. When he talked to Iruka about it, Iruka immediately called down Kakashi and Hiruzen to find out what Naruto had now. Naruto was still not a master at the chains like his mother, but he was gaining control and more thought into his wind techniques. That and mastering his chakra control better by cutting leaves with his chakra and walking on the nearby riverway that went through the Forest of Death. Naruto stood calmly, his eyes focused pools of serious cerulean as thousands of shuriken charged at him and he smirked, making a hand sign. The wind became his skin, a layer that protected him from harm as the shuriken bounced and flew to the ground. Naruto cursed to himself, he still couldn't use the wind to grab the shuriken in midair and fling them back at his opponent. All he had was a slightly more powerful 8 trigrams palms revolving heaven technique since his wind could surround him completely. It was more perfect than that technique and Sabaku no Gaara's and it being a defensive technique though Naruto's technique took a lot of chakra, even more than his multiple shadow clone technique. If Naruto used it too much and couldn't toss the weapons used against him back, then the technique would be less useful. It could also guard him from jutsu, especially lightning release ones. Fire techniques took a lot more effort and could end up burning him when they touched the layer of wind and not get reflected back. Full body burns equals very painful. His clones popped out in a mob, rushing at Naruto. Naruto decided to try out, sprouting chains from his body, imagining the shape of the links and then forming to make the chains. Naruto closed his eyes and concentrated. "Come on. Send out the chains." Naruto thought before opening his eyes as an array of chains sprouted out of his body, wrapping and holding down each clone, causing them to disappear into smoke, filling the area around Naruto. Naruto felt his chakra start to get weaker from practicing his Kekkei Genkais and his body getting slightly weaker from practicing taijutsu and throwing his dagged weapons, showing their abilities. Naruto decided to call it a day. After all, it would be the third stage of the Chunin exam tomorrow and he remembered what had happened before they got to the tower. When he had talked to Kisuke. 30. What? Naruto said shocked. Kisuke looked at him. You shouldn't be surprised. The Ninja Academy should have taught you all the wars Konohagakure went through. Naruto remembered that. The Third Shinobi World War was a war that Konohagakure surprisingly won, thanks to Namikaze Minato, his nickname being Konoha's Yellow Flash after the war because of him using his Flying Thunder God technique to decimate forces to help turn the tides in the war. It was, also, partly thanks to Hatake Kakashi and his teammates that the Kanabai Bridge was destroyed, turning the tables on the enemy as well since they couldn't carry supplies by the bridge anymore. Of course I remember, Naruto said to Kisuke. I was just shocked at hearing my father killed all of your clan. Yes, my clan, the Bushido, was a mixture of samurai and shinobi, mostly shinobi that adopted the skills of the samurai. That's why I hold these 2 katanas on my back. I learned samurai skills along with shinobi skills. I follow my Bushido just as much as my Nindo. My way of life is a strange one. I wasn't exactly Mr. Popular in my village and still I'm not. They don't understand my clan very well as we had our own land inside Tsuchi no Kuni before it became part of Iwagakure, the land's ninja village. Our clan was very powerful yet small as I was. My father was the one of the only survivors in the clan besides our clan's most powerful shinobi, Bushido Takashi, a friend of my father. Takashi became known as the Kuroyakuma Black Demon. The reason was the cold fierceness he held in his eyes, the long, flowing, spiky black hair he had moved with him like a mane of a beast and the way he struck with his swords were as if they were just claws he had on his fingers, a part of him. Once the war ended, Takashi left the village, wishing goodwill and a bright future for my father. My father would come to marry a samurai's daughter and she would give birth to me, ironically dying while bringing me into the world. My father would shortly die after that by sorcery of the Red Sand and his partner of the time, Orochimaru, on a mission he took that was an S rank. I don't remember since I was quite young at the time of his death. I was left alone and unable to survive until Anki granted me a small house about the size of a shack to live in and provided me with a sum of money and some money left by my clan and my family. Luckily, the accounts had quite a bit of money to survive on before getting paid on ninja missions. I still hold some money in the clan accounts and even put some into savings so I could gain more money as it sat in the bank. Many of the clan's scrolls are in the library in my living room. Not very many scrolls, so there was room in the living room to put them there. Naruto was still shocked, wondering why this stranger was telling him all this when all the boy knew about Naruto was that he was the son of the fourth Hokage. Was he merely telling him all this before he killed him, showing Naruto a person just like him, alone and isolated, only for that person to kill him? An avenger taking vengeance on his clan's and father's deaths on the son of the killer of his clan and waiting to take vengeance on Orochimaru and Sasori on a later date as he told his story to show Naruto that other people were like him, like Sasuke. "Aren't you going to kill me now?" Naruto asked, staring at the other Jonin, who raised an eyebrow at what he said. "Kill you? Nah, I won't kill you for vengeance on my clan. I've learned the paths of samurai and shinobi and both paths lead to death. There's no point in killing you for what your father did. No point in killing Sasori and Orochimaru for what they did. The only way I would kill any of you guys is if you threaten my village and the people that are important to me right now. I will protect the living to make sure they don't become the dead like my father and my clan, because once they are dead, they are gone forever. I've learned to appreciate the time I have with the people I hold important to me. By looking into your eyes, I can see you feel the same way." Kisuke took out his hand, reaching toward Naruto like a friend doing a gesture to his best friend and smiling a true smile at Naruto, shocking the blonde once again. "It would be better to make friends than enemies. Even our villages have gotten along better over the years, but even that doesn't matter. No matter if our villages are allies or enemies or just neutral with each other like now, we will still hold a bond of people that have share a similar past and will make a better future. That's what I believe after seeing you." "You hold no hatred toward me?" Kisuke chuckled. "No, not anymore, now that I've seen what kind of person you are. At first, I blamed you for what your father did to my clan, my village, but I've learned from seeing what you are that it'll be better to be friends than become enemies and end up dead. After all, I think you hold the Kyuubi inside you and that would mean I would more likely die than me." Naruto tensed at the mention of the beast he contained. "How do you know about the fox?" "You had Kyuubi's influence on you when I first saw you and started to face you. After all, you had eyes like a kitsune and your whisker marks began to darken, which meant something was happening to you. I also know of other Jinchuriki like Han and Roshi from my village, containers for the tailed beasts like you. There are at least 6 others than you and Han and Roshi since those two hold 4 tails and 3 tails. Plus I remember discussing the Kyuubi attack in our ninja academy since it was the cause of the 4th Hokage's death." "I see," Naruto said as he extended his hand to reach Kisuke's until they met and wrapped into a hug, a handshake. Naruto smiled at Kisuke, who lightly smiled back. "I hope to see you in the next part of the exam." "I do as well," Kisuke said, taking his hand back and turning away from Naruto. "Let's do our best." Naruto smiled and jumped in joy and excitement of what the next part could be. "I will do my best. Believe it." Kisuke chuckled before departing, walking back to his team, knowing he made the right decision in the end. 30. Naruto looked to the sky and smiled at the clear bright day as he rose his hand up as if trying to grab the sun from the sky and clenched it. "I will show them how powerful I am. Wish me luck, Tosan, Kasan." He continued to smile at the sky as if it was his father and mother smiling down upon him. He stayed there, smiling for a while, until his teammate appeared from the tower. Naruto turned to the voice, seeing Sakura calling for him. "Are you almost done training? It's getting close to the next part tomorrow. You should rest for tomorrow and just come into the tower." Naruto secretly wanted to train more, but knew with it being around 4 or 5 o'clock that it would be almost time to go inside and get rested for early the next morning would be the next part of the exam. He looked at the sky once more and then rushed inside after Sakura went back in, ready for the next part of the Chunin exam. 30. Kisuke was up, looking at the wall of the room he and Washimura occupied as Washimura was preparing himself for the next part. "So that's what you decided to do with the issue with the Namikaze?" Washimura asked, to which Kisuke nodded. "I think that was one of the best decisions you've made in the exams." "I know," Kisuke stated proudly until he picked up on what his teammate said. "Wait a minute, dude. What do you mean by that being one of the best decisions I've made in the exams?" All of my decisions were awesome. Except when you decided for us to split in the Forest of Death as while you gained a scroll. Your splitting us up caused me to lose our scroll to another team. Luckily, we were able to recover a scroll in the forest later, Washimura said to his teammate, whose sweat dropped at what his friend said. Yeah, I understand, Kisuke said, standing as he walked toward the door and opened it. Let's just get to the arena for the next part of the exam. 30. Naruto looked around the arena-like area, searching for people and teams he knew. He found that to his left were the other rookie teams with Inuzuka Kiba and Yamanaka Ino in front, Hyuga Hinata and Arashi Kamaru in the middle, and Aburame Shino and Akimichi Choji at the end. Choji seemed to be thinking about food and being hungry, Shikamaru sighing at how many were left after all this time and Ino smiling widely that Sasuke-kun's team passed. Insert heart. Kiba was staring weirdly at Gaara, who was in front of Kankuro and Tamari, as Akamaru was whimpering inside Kiba's warm jacket. Hinata was smiling and had her two index fingers poking at each other as she looked at Naruto, glad that he had passed. Shino, however, just stood, keeping to himself like usual. Naruto looked to the right to see Hyuga Neji, Rock Lee and Tenten beside his team. Bushido Kisuke and his team of Utsukishi Hikari and Washimura was next to that team, then Gaara's team and lastly, there was the Sound Ninja team and, then, Kabuto's team. Sakura kept worrying after Sasuke when the Hokage announced what the next test would be, one-on-one matches against a random opponent. Even when Kakashi said he suppressed the seal and said that it wouldn't do harm, she still worried about him. She started to tell Sasuke to quit when the proctor told them they could quit right then and there. Sasuke, of course, told her not to ruin this opportunity of a lifetime for him as they began to generate the names on the board, names scrambling around until one appeared at first in big letters just saying read me, read me. That name was Washimura. Washimura looked calm as he saw his name being featured on the board as he waited patiently for the other name, his opponent to appear. When it finally appeared, he looked at his opponent, who looked to him. Washimura versus Kankuro. Washimura and Kankuro went to the center of the arena as senseis went to their teams in the upper levels to the sides of the arena as the proctor stayed on the ground level and the Hokage and other proctors joined them. Hikari wished Washimura luck, who merely nodded, and walked up to their sensei. Kisuke stayed as he approached Washimura and whispered something in his ear. He looks like he's hiding something in those wrappings. You might want to watch yourself since he is from Suna. He could be a wind user or a puppet master. You never know. Kisuke looked at his teammate. I already thought of that and I've got an idea already in place, but I don't know his full capabilities yet. After all, he may show weakness and reveal his flaws in his rage of our village. After all, we are still bitter enemies with Sunagaku, Washimura said as Kisuke nodded and went to the upper level where his sensei with short spiky hair and coal black eyes was. Kankuro glared at his opponent, knowing of Iwagakure and Sunagakure's deep hatred from the past ninja wars. He merely stood there, with a fierce look in his eyes, causing Baki to look at Kankuro with widened eyes. Don't lose control of your emotions here, Kankuro. You may reveal more than what you should about your abilities since these are the preliminaries. Baki thought as Hayate Gecko coughed and looked at the competitors. First match, Washimura vs Kankuro. Begin, he said, lowering his hand to show that the match had begun. Washimura took out a few kunai and shuriken and threw them at Kankuro while rushing forward toward him. Kankuro merely dodged the projectiles and looked at Washimura as the ninja did a series of hand signs. Earth release, tearing earth turning bomb. Washimura saw as the earth began to rise and surround Kankuro and spiral into itself to partly bury Kankuro, only to reveal it was a puppet that rushed out quickly from the earth and grabbed Washimura. The thing in wrappings was revealed to be Kankuro as he appeared on the other side of Washimura, chakra strings on his fingers and a confident grin on his face. He had his puppet, Crow, crush Washimura until he was nothing but blood. Kankuro grinned, that was too easy. Yes it was. Kankuro was shocked when he heard a familiar voice behind him and turned quickly. Washimura was before him, revealing that the Washimura he thought he killed was a mud clone, the blood being a more liquid mud. Washimura did a really quick set of hand signs as Kankuro grew furious and threw Crow toward Washimura, only for Crow to fall onto the ground, Washimura unseen once again. Where the hell are you? Kankuro yelled until he felt something underneath him and his eyes widened as a hand gripped one of his legs pulling him down into the ground of the arena. It looks like I win, Washimura said as he looked down at Kankuro's head, who growled at his opponent and Hayate just coughed. Winner of the match is Washimura. Hayate coughed as Kankuro was let out by his disappointed sensei. You were too cocky when you thought you had him beat and let your anger get to you and disrupt your fighting abilities. Baki lectured to Kankuro who glared at his sensei. Gaara coldly told Kankuro, He was a disgrace, causing Kankuro to shake a little and then grow angry at how he was defeated. "Let's get to the next match, shall we?" Hayate said more than asked as the monitor started to scramble names as the many competitors looked to see who was next up. The first name was revealed to be Abumi Zaku. Zaku looked at the screen, hoping that he would get Sasuke in order to get him back for what he tried to do to his arm, injuring one, but not breaking it. Zaku glared at Sasuke until he heard the screen finish with the name of his opponent. He smirked at who he had to face and jumped from the stand as his opponent did as well, with his teammates wishing him luck. The screen read, Abumi Zaku vs. Uchiha Sasuke. Chapter 14. Clashes in the preliminaries, the fights that lead to the main event. Zaku glared at Sasuke as Hayate coughed and told them they were the next match and fight. Zaku stood there for a moment, glaring intensely at the Uchiha, who had a calm expression as he backed toward the wall and made a series of hand signs. Zaku went ahead and charged at his opponent as he was ready to blast Sasuke away like he was Team Rocket. Fire release, great fireball technique. Sasuke blew out a giant ball of fire as Zaku merely dodged the ball rather quickly and thrust it out his palm, air pressure about to be released as he was close to Sasuke. Decapitating airwaves. Zaku smirked as his waves of fierce air struck Sasuke into the wall, blood spitting out of his mouth as he hit impact onto the wall. Zaku smirked and even laughed as Sasuke rose up fairly quickly and rushed at him with pretty high speeds. "You saw my technique in the forest and you couldn't even dodge it there." Zaku was no longer laughing as Sasuke fiercely appeared before him and kicked him up into the air roughly. He was behind Zaku in midair as the Sound Ninja's eyes widened in realization. "You're using the same thing that Eyebrowed Freak used on Dosu." "Eat this." Sasuke smirked as he threw a kick at Zaku's side and then appeared above the falling Zaku to do a drop kick right into the Jonin's stomach. Lion's combo. Zaku spat out blood at the impact while having trouble getting up as Sasuke landed on the ground lightly and locked at the Jonin. Zaku got up, feeling weak and angry, as he stared at the Uchiha. "You think just because you're from a famous clan and are beloved that you are strong, eh, Uchiha Sasuke?" Zaku yelled at the boy in pure rage as he remembered Orochimaru finding him when he was young. He was a mere orphan with no reason for living, scavenging and stealing to live until Orochimaru took him in. He was going to persevere and move on and become strong. He would never give up and he would win. He had power. He could destroy the Uchiha's world with his air pressure. He would destroy the Uchiha. "I will not lose." His supposedly broken arm was released from the sling, shocking everyone except Dosu and Kin. He smirked at his plan to show he had a handicap and blast Sasuke with all he had. He rushed toward Sasuke and made a series of hand signs as his grin of arrogance grew until it was covering his face. "Take this, Uchiha Sasuke." Extreme decapitating airwaves. A colossal burst of air collided with Sasuke, busting into the arena in Zaku's anger. It was Zaku's anger and drive, thrusting into the boy with power and fury. He grinned when he saw nothing there and laughed. "Looks like you're nothing special, Uchiha." He spat out the word Uchiha in rudeness as everyone was shocked that Sasuke had lost. "Sasuke-kun," Sakura yelled out, fearing he was gone forever as Naruto put a hand on her shoulder and she looked up to his face, a grin of reassurance of what was happening. "Naruto?" "Sakura-chan," Naruto said, a grin still in place, "you know Sasuke enough to know that he wouldn't be done in like that. Look closely." Sakura quickly looked and gasped at what she saw behind the laughing and cheering Zaku. Sasuke stood behind Zaku with a smirk on his face with everyone gaping at him. "Zaku, you baka. Look behind you," Kin yelled, but it was too late. Sasuke took his hand and chopped fiercely at Zaku's neck to make him pass out into unconsciousness as he fell down roughly onto the arena's floor. Sasuke looked at Hayate with a smirk. "Looks like I won, eh, Proctor?" Hayate slightly smiled and coughed. "Winner is Sasuke Uchiha." Ino smiled and called out, "Great job, Sasuke-kun." Shikamaru sighed as she was yelling this near his ear. "Could you not yell that into my ear?" "What did you say, Shikamaru?" He sighed again, finger rubbing the inside of his ear. "Nothing." Sasuke approached his team, getting a nice smile from his sensei, a grin from Naruto and a smile and hug from Sakura. "You could have lost from the air blast of his, you know," Naruto said with a grin still on his face, and Sasuke had a light smile on his face before it changed into his usual smirk. "Shut up, dope. You still have a match to do yourself," Sasuke said as Naruto looked to the screen, grinning in anticipation. "All right, I hope I'm next," Naruto said, his hand extended out into a fist as the names started to rotate through. It seems that Kakashi was able to repress the curse mark with the evil sealing method. We will still have to keep watch on him and any weird movement since Orochimaru is around. The third Hokage spoke as Anko nodded in agreement beside him. "The next match will be Hayate spoke as the names started to slow down and show their first name. Aburame Shino. Shino looked at the board and merely waited patiently for who his opponent would be. Hinata gasped at who was revealed to face Shino as he merely went down to the arena, and Hinata silently wished him luck with Kiba as Shino nodded. He looked as his opponent merely looked at him calmly as Shino once again looked at the board as Hayate merely said for them to begin, and the opponent got into a stance, a confident stance that he would win, and once Shino had seen his teammate use many times before. Shino just stood there, thinking of a plan because he would need one, for the board told him his opponent would not be a piece of cake at all. It read, Aburame Shino vs. Hyuga Neji. Neji smirked at his opponent, cockily planning to taunt Shino. It is fate that you and I would fight. After all, you are Hinata's teammate. Shino could hear the non-existent respect in Neji's voice for Hinata. Shino knew about the whole main house of Hyuga and the branch house of Hyuga and how they were treated to each other. Shino merely stood and lifted his hand as he waited for Neji to strike him to release his chakra-feeding bugs. After all, Shino mainly had strategy and his clan's techniques to use, as he never had much tact for anything other than that. Neji rushed at him with intense speed, but Shino dodged the first few palm strikes until Neji surprised him by tripping Shino with an elegant movement of his foot and struck his chest with a gentle fist palm. It was revealed shortly after, though, as Neji felt his chakra being eaten and drained, that this was an insect clone. As the bugs began to cover Neji's arm, Neji sent a burst of chakra out of his arm that was deadly enough to kill the overflowed bugs since they had too much chakra inside them. Shino was sideways in Neji's blind spot, after knowing where Hinata's was, and sent his insects there specifically. Neji heard the insects coming and his eyes slightly widened when he figured out where Shino was targeting him. Neji grew focused as he rotated with a dome of chakra surrounding him, destroying the bugs that tried to strike him down. Neji slightly glared at Shino, who just stood there silently. I should have known that since Hinata is on your team that you would figure out my blind spot in the Byakugan. After all, you seem like a more calculating person compared to your teammates. I figured you would be the strongest on the team. Hey, Kiba yelled out at what Neji said. Neji looked seriously at Shino as he figured that Shino wouldn't know of the 8 trigrams palm revolving heaven since Hinata didn't use this technique and would barely know of it, and decided to use another technique Hinata couldn't use and would barely speak of since Shino was in the right distance from him. 8 trigrams, 64 palms. Neji thought as he got into stance and looked calmly at Shino. Neji surprised Shino as he rushed and started to do many gentle fist strikes onto him, killing some of his chakra-feeding bugs while blocking up some of his chakra points as well. Neji ended with a strike near Shino's chest as the Aburame flew back and hit the wall, falling onto his butt lightly before rising slowly to his feet. That technique sealed some of my chakra points and killed some of my bugs. Shino thought as he breathed heavier than usual from the strikes Neji hit onto his body. I don't think I'll be able to last too many more strikes before I collapse, and my bugs would probably be repelled by that defensive jutsu he used earlier. He might be able to use it once or twice more before becoming exhausted and do more strikes to my bugs and chakra points. I can't defeat him in the shape I'm in since I knew only a little of his skills. I could barely keep distance from his speed, and his strikes were deadly, fast and precise with those eyes he holds. I just can't beat him at my abilities right now, but I gave it my best and there's always next time anyway. Sorry, Kiba, Hinata, Kurenai-sensei. It looks like I won't be able to pass. Shino stood up and looked at the collected Neji as he sighed a little. It seems you have me beat, Neji. Your strikes killed some of my bugs along with blocking some of my chakra points as well. I fear if I continue our match that I would end up losing anyway. I can see you being exhausted but still winning while I most likely will be unconscious from all the strikes. It was a nice strategic battle overall though. Neji actually felt like Shino could potentially have beaten him if he knew exactly what Neji had as far as techniques. Shino was actually more about strategy and thinking ahead than actually fighting technique for technique. Neji actually applauded that approach since that's how he thought. You did a very nice job for a rookie to get me down this far, but you still lost like fate would have it, Neji said as he went back up to the upper stands and Hayate told everyone he was the winner. Yosh! My youthful student beat his opponent. Guy cheered as everyone's sweat dropped at his actions. Let's see if your students can beat mine in passing, eh, Kakashi? Kakashi peeked up at Guy in confusion. Huh? You say something, Guy? Guy was fuming as he turned away. Curse you, Kakashi, and your hip attitude. Shino went up to the stands as Kiba laughed a little at his teammate. Ha, at least I won't lose in this exam. I only lost because I knew I would lose anyway. I avoided what could potentially be a big injury on me to just a few of my chakra points being temporarily sealed. So don't go laughing at me when you will probably lose as well. Hey, Kiba yelled, shaking his fist at his bug-using teammate. I will win and then you'll be sorry you even said that. Then do that, Shino said calmly as looked at the screen. You are next after all. Kiba looked shocked until he looked at the screen to see his name. Inuzuka Kiba. He waited for the next name to reveal itself, and when it did, he grinned at who he had to face. Inuzuka Kiba vs. Yamanaka Ino. Kiba went down from the upper floor and Ino did as well. Hayate Gecko told them to fight as Kiba quickly punched Ino to the ground. Orochimaru was beside him. Ino got up and used clones to distract them before using her mind transfer technique against Kiba. She was about to raise Kiba's hand until Orochimaru growled and bit the hand, causing Kiba to regain consciousness, and Ino went back to her body. Kiba hit her with passing fang and knocked her out, making him the winner easily as he bragged to Shino. Naruto was getting impatient. Come on. Let me fight already. Lee said, yes, let me go next. The screen began to go through names at an increasing pace before stopping at one name and then quickly revealing the other. Haruno Sakura vs. Tsuchikin. Kin smirked and went down as Naruto. Kakashi and Sasuke in their own ways wished Sakura luck. Kin quickly went and launched out needles, but Sakura maneuvered enough to not be caught by the needles as the bells attached ringed. Sakura quickly used chakra on her feet and focused it into her hands that were made into fists and forced the sound kunoichi into the wall, knocking her out and winning the match. The next match was beginning to start as Naruto barely focused on the board, congratulating Sakura on her win. The board then read, Tsuruge Misumi vs. Tamari. Naruto just saw the Sand Kunoichi decimate Misumi with her fan and wind techniques, yawning at the boring matchup as he hoped with Lee that he was next up. As the board went, Naruto sighed in disappointment as the next match was not him, but another two people as the board read. Nara Shikamaru vs. Akato Yoroi. Shikamaru surprised many with his tactical strength, with quickly using the wall and his shadow techniques to avoid Yoroi's chakra-absorbing technique and cause him to be knocked into the wall like Kin in the earlier match with Sakura. Naruto was growing even more bored as the next match revealed itself on the board. Yakushi Kabuto vs. Hyuga Hinata. Kabuto showed off surprising skills with using chakra scalpels quickly on Hinata's arms, cutting off her using them temporarily. I know you Hyuga use your techniques by your hands using a taijutsu style of gentle fist, so cutting off access will lead to you losing the fight instantly, Kabuto stated as he walked away once Hayate declared him the winner and he put his glasses more up on his nose. Orochimaru, hiding as the sound ninja's sensei, looked at Kabuto as he rose up the stand. Kabuto slightly looked at Orochimaru, remembering giving information to him on Naruto and Sasuke during the exam as he spied on them. He was allowed by Orochimaru to participate as long as he didn't reveal too much of his skills. The third looked at Kabuto, still wondering about the boy who was the son of a famous medical ninja that was found at Kikyo Pass. The third just got rid of the feelings of dread he got from the Genon, knowing the boy could have learned them easily if he had a father that was a great medical ninja and doctor. The board began to spin around names until it stopped once again with Tenten vs. Akameki Choji. Tenten used her paper bombs and exploding tools to cause Choji to get out of his expanded form and used kunai, shuriken and other items to inflict enough damage to cause him to faint, leading her to be the winner as she used her speed from Might Guy's training to avoid the rolling ball that was Choji. Again, Naruto complained that he didn't get to fight at all yet as he looked again to finally see a fight that interested him a little, even if it wasn't him fighting. Utsukishi Hikari vs. Bushido Kisuke. I forfeit, Hikari said, knowing that Kisuke would beat her easily, and it allowed everyone to not know of Kisuke's abilities, an advantage for her teammate/friend. Naruto finally looked at the screen hoping that he was next since it was down to 4 people, him, Gaara, Lee, and Dosu. The first name appeared and Naruto grinned fiercely at what he saw and widened his grin when the other name appeared. Uzumaki Naruto vs. Kinuta Dosu. Naruto jumped from the upper level immediately, ready to finally step into action. Dosu walked down as he looked at his opponent. Let's see what you can do, Dosu said, raising his hand with the amplifier on it as Naruto grinned at him, raising his fist up in confidence of his ability. You'll see that you'll lose, Naruto said, hearing the cheers of Sakura to whoop his ass as Hayate coughed. Match 12, Uzumaki Naruto vs. Kinuta Dosu, begin, Hayate said, jumping out of the way as Naruto made a hand sign. Multiple shadow clone jutsu. Naruto produced 9 more of himself, causing Dosu to see 10 of the navy blue shirt wearing ninja as the clones each pulled out a kunai with a weird tag on it. Half of them threw them at Dosu only for him to rush and dodge. The clones smirked as Naruto had the 5 rush Dosu. It seems it's time to reveal a technique I secretly found in the scroll. Naruto grinned at what he had planned for the fight. Time to show no one to underestimate me. He did a few hand signs and waited as his clones surrounded the confused Dosu in the circle, throwing the kunai at him. Dosu barely dodged 2 of the kunai knives, leading to 3 of them hitting him. Dosu's eyes widened when the paper tags began to burn. Paper bombs, Dosu thought as he removed the kunais and threw them only for the paper bombs to not explode, but set out little embers at Dosu, burning a little of Dosu's bandages. Naruto smirked as he breathed out many slashes of wind that were rushing toward Dosu. Dosu jumped over two of them, only to be hit by one of them into a wall of the battlefield. Naruto had his fingers extended as chains began to unleash from his fingertips, shocking Dosu as he was wrapped by the chains and was tugged by Naruto to force him in his direction. Naruto had wind chakra surround his hand as he hit Dosu, releasing him from chains and shocking a few people there. When did Naruto get this strong? Some like Kiba and Ino thought as Kakashi and Sakura merely smiled along with Sasuke, surprisingly, at what Naruto was showing them. People usually underestimate me, Naruto spoke to the rising Dosu. Now you know to never underestimate me ever. The third Hokage chuckled and smiled as he looked at Naruto. Show everyone what you can do, Naruto-kun. It's time to reveal one of my techniques I got from that scroll, the one that I completed. Naruto had chains coming out of his fingers and had something coating them. Time to show everyone who's the dead last now. He grinned, ready to end this match and show everyone what the Kaze no Arashi can do. Chapter 15. The main events, the Kaze no Arashi and the Sabaku no Arashi. Dosu was shocked at what this blonde ninja displayed. The power this boy held shocked him and the slight strategy the boy used to hit Dosu after knowing of Dosu's techniques. Dosu cursed as he saw Naruto hold chains on his fingertips, applying a coating of chakra of some kind onto the chains as he grinned in eagerness to show everyone what he could do. It seemed that the Uchiha's team was a lot stronger than he thought. The team was the only team so far that could possibly have all their members move on to the third part of the exam. Dosu grinded his teeth. He knew that he would have to do anything and everything in order to beat the blonde and hit him with a wave of sound from his amp. After all, the water inside Naruto's body should make the sound waves damage him quite a bit. Dosu made a hand sign and charged, generating churka into his amplifier as he hit one the Naruto's with his arm and glared at the blonde before him. Vibrating sound drill. Dosu had the sound focus into Naruto's ear only for him to see that it was a clone, vanishing into smoke. Damn it, I'll have to find out which one is him one by one. Dosu charged to another Naruto, and did exactly what he did to the clone, that Naruto vanishing into smoke as well. The other Narutos were joined together as Dosu knew the one in the back would be the real one. He zoomed past the two and went for the one in the back using his amplifier as he grinned evilly and seeing blood drip from Naruto's ear and the other clones vanished. So you were hiding in the back of your clones, having them protect you from the sound attacks? Such a coward, you are, Dosu said, grinning in satisfaction, until he heard Naruto chuckle and look up at him, breathing a little heavy. Who said I was ever hiding? Naruto said, shocking Dosu and everyone else as he vanished into smoke and Naruto appeared behind the sound shinobi, fingers still holding chains on their tips. Dosu turned quickly as Naruto grinned in success and sent the 5 chains from his fingers, wind chakra surrounding them. The chains went clean through Dosu, crimson life flowing from his body, as Naruto watched the man fall onto the ground. It seems I didn't reveal the other 2 of my paper seals and my Kaze no Arashi, so I still have techniques up my sleeve for the third part of the exam. Naruto looked at his hand, closed it and smiled at what he accomplished. I did it. Hayate Gecko looked at Dosu and coughed. Winner. I'm still not done. Naruto looked as Dosu revealed himself and the body dispersed into sound waves. Naruto's eyes widened as he used the wind to disperse the sound waves that Dosu sent his way and looked to see a slightly wounded Dosu. So he can make a clone out of sound waves. That's new. I have to prove to Orochimaru-sama. No. Orochimaru, I have to prove to Orochimaru that I am not a pawn to be thrown away. He's just using me to judge Uchiha Sasuke's abilities. He just wants the power from the boy and doesn't care as he will use us as he wants. We're pawns to gain the king. Dosu thought, angry at Orochimaru as he glared at his sensei. Orochimaru just stood, interested in how the match would play. Dosu sighed as he looked at his opponent, the one that could block him from facing Sasuke. I can't believe I had to reveal something I never had to use. Most people believe I only know the attacks with the amplifier. I just had to reveal it right now, but otherwise, and I would be either dead, passed out, or very badly injured. Let's settle this, Uzumaki Naruto, Dosu said as he zoomed in with his remaining strength and Naruto stood still, looking calmly at his opponent. Naruto smirked as he saw Dosu. Yeah, I'll end this now. He pulled out a paper tag from his pouch and rushed at Dosu. Right as Dosu was about to strike, Naruto ducked beforehand and planted the tag on one of Dosu's feet and turned to face Dosu as he smirked and made a hand sign. Dosu started to move, but stopped, his body feeling numb and unmovable for some reason. His eyes slowly widened in pure shock and his mouth slowly moved into the sentence he wanted to say. What did you do to me? Naruto grinned as he approached Dosu, his hand still formed into a hand sign while the other was free, resting at his side. That tag contains a seal that paralyzes you completely. Naruto hid the weaknesses, not wanting anybody to know. That is until I release it by not applying chakra to it by this hand sign I am doing right here. Smooth, Naruto, you spoiled one of the weaknesses of the seal. He thought to himself as he looked at Dosu. He, then, remembered, knowing how stupid one moment he can be and be a genius the other, that the tag would lose effect anyway as he would stop forming the seal with one of his hands. You would know anyway when I release my hand from this sign, so there was no point in not telling you since I'm going to do it anyway. Naruto released the sign, grinned as he focused wind chakra into his closed fist and his fist. Dosu tore off the seal tag from his foot and started to get used to walking again, only to be shocked when Naruto, wearing a serious expression with calm, cerulean eyes, appeared before him and shoved the fist into the Sound Ninja's stomach as Dosu felt blood flow out of his mouth and him being knocked onto the ground of the already torn arena. Naruto grinned in victory as he looked at a surprised Hayate, who coughed a little and, then, smiled at Naruto's winner. Hayate started before he coughed once more. Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto raised his fist and smiled at his win as a few people were amazed at his performance. Fuck yeah, I won. Nice job, Naruto, Sakura yelled as she was shocked when Lee, beside her, had fire burning in his eyes and leapt from the upper levels. Guy looked seriously at Naruto like Kurenai and Asuma, thinking similar things about being amazed at Naruto's talent and abilities shown here, except he had to add something to it. Yosh, that Naruto kid is full of the wonderful pleasuring youth that Lee and I hold so dear. He'll become a splendid ninja someday. A splendid ninja full of youth. So beautiful. Comical anime tears flooded from Guy's eyes, causing his team, except Lee, and Sakura and Sasuke, to stare at him with comical freaked-out expressions. The third looked at Naruto and smiled. Good job, Naruto. Gaara looked at Naruto fiercely as he made a hand sign and sand went around him. He appeared on the floor of the exam and looked calmly at Lee and Naruto as they talked. Yes, Naruto, that was quite the youthful battle you had. I hope mine up next is just as youthful, Lee said, making a nice guy pose. Guy laughed and looked at Kakashi. It seems your students are quite youthful, Kakashi. Just what I thought I'd see from my rival. His smile flashed a blinding light at Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura, as the two students were shaking and were creeped out at the Jonin teacher with huge eyebrows. Huh? You say something, Guy? Kakashi said as usual, turning to his rival, as he would say, with a look of confusion. Guy shook at what Kakashi said and exclaimed, "Curse you, Kakashi, and your hip attitude." Naruto looked at Lee and, then, Gaara as he put a hand on Lee's shoulder. Just be careful, Lee. He's the one out of all of these guys here that I would fear to fight myself. Good luck on your match. Lee smiled at Naruto. I'll win this match or do 1,000,000 crunches. Naruto's sweat dropped and chuckled. Okay, Lee, and went up to his team as they greeted him. Naruto, Sakura yelled as she waved at him and smiled. Good job out there. You did good as well, Naruto said with his usual smile. Sasuke smirked, though you look a little worn out. Dope. Naruto smirked back, not as much as you did. Great job out there, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. I'm surprised and proud that you all entered and even made it to the final part of the exam. Thanks, Sensei, they said to him before turning to the match as Hayate was coughing. Gaara sent out the cork of his gourd and Lee quickly grabbed it, even as nobody at all saw it other than a few people. Lee gripped it and looked seriously at his opponent. Please, don't rush things. Gaara looked impassive as he let the sand leak out of his gourd and Lee merely got into his taijutsu stance, smirking. Hayate Gecko quickly started the match and moved backward as Lee rushed toward Gaara and started to whip around the sand at insane speeds that would make a certain blue hedgehog that is on video games to look like a tortoise. Everyone looked at the match in wonder as Lee began to quickly dodge the movements of sand like an acrobat on a tightrope, elegant and smart. Lee, then, zoomed and tried to punch only to curse and back away fast as the sand blocked his punch. Sakura was confused at why Lee was doing this and only using taijutsu. Why is Lee only using taijutsu when it doesn't work against Gaara's sand? It would be easier to use ninjutsu to hold the sand off, Sakura said confused. That's because, Guy said, catching Team 7's attention, Lee only knows how to use taijutsu. Lee rushed back as the sand followed him and he did backflips until he landed on the giant hand sign in the back of the arena. He was staring down Gaara, who was calmly looking back at him. And he'll win by doing that, Guy said, confusing Sakura and the others. He looked at Lee and smiled. Take them off, Lee. I'll allow it this time. Lee looked seriously at Guy and, then, smiled excitedly. You really mean that, Guy-sensei? Guy laughed and did a nice guy pose. Of course. Lee laughed as he showed he was wearing weights, causing many to chuckle. Do you really think weights will allow him to beat Gaara easier? Kankuro questioned as Temari nodded in agreement with her brother. Lee dropped them as they crashed into the ground, dust flying with parts of the floor, shocking everyone. But Guy there. Kakashi looked like he had a deadpan expression. Did you really have to go overboard, Guy? Lee rushed forward, appearing behind Gaara as he went to punch, shocking the sand user. The sand barely blocked the punches. Lee kept going, blow after blow. He zoomed up into the air above Gaara as he was about to kick Gaara, and Guy smiled. He doesn't know any ninjutsu or genjutsu, so he used all his time on taijutsu. He's a taijutsu specialist, Guy said as Lee landed a kick right on Gaara's head, shocking everyone there completely. There was a cut on Gaara's cheek. No one can compete with Lee in speed. Like I said, Lee is really strong. Lee smiled. We're getting started now. He rushed and punched Gaara to the ground in the blink of an eye. Sasuke was shocked, eyes wide at Lee's display. He's incredibly fast. Sasuke's fist tightened as he glared at Lee, who was looking confident, and then looked at the intently watching, intrigued Naruto. I have to get strong. Lee looked shocked as little pieces of clumped together sand fell from Gaara's face, showing his vicious face, grinning from ear to ear. Sakura shook, scared of Gaara as Kakashi looked intently. He has his body encased in a sand armor of sorts. Kankuro shook uncontrollably as Temari and Baki looked shocked as well. His true self is coming out. The armor began to repair itself as Gaara looked calmly at Lee, who was in his usual stance. Is that all you have? That protection of his armor. I'll have to use the lotus. Lee looked to Guy as they both nodded, and Lee started to unwrap his bandages and rushed at Gaara at high speeds. Come on already, Gaara said as Lee finally went up to him and repeatedly kicked Gaara in the air until he wrapped Gaara into the wrappings and sent him downward in a forward lotus. He went away from Gaara, huffing in how much the technique took out of him. He looked at where Gaara landed and was shocked when he was a shell of sand, Gaara no longer there. He heard laughing behind him as he quickly turned to see Gaara. Gaara rushed his sand out at Lee, who couldn't avoid the attack. It seems that lotus thing takes a lot out of Lee, Naruto said, seeing Gaara rush out his sand and Lee barely dodging the sand until Lee finally looked serious and got into a stance, confusing Naruto. Eh? Why is he getting all into his stance, smiling? I thought he was exhausted from the lotus? The lotus blooms twice, Guy said as everyone looked at him, only Kakashi with wide eyes. You didn't, Guy, Kakashi said silently as Guy glared at Kakashi and they felt Lee open the first gate. What do you mean by that, Kakashi-sensei? Sasuke asked, watching the match. Guy taught Lee how to open the forbidden gates, each giving people untapped power, yet if they open enough of the gates, they could potentially injure their bodies severely or even worse, Kakashi said, causing Sasuke to widen his eyes in realization. You mean? Sasuke started. Yes, Sasuke, you will die. Everyone was shocked. Even Kakashi said this except Guy. That technique is forbidden, Guy, even more than the regular lotus. Lee opened the second and third gates, causing everyone to look in shock and awe at Lee's power. Kakashi even revealed his Sharingan to see what Lee was doing. He was shocked when he looked at Lee, the boy's nose bleeding out of the power he was displaying, his skin a deep, dark crimson. This boy is a genius. Neji. Sasuke. And even you. Naruto. I want to show that I am strong. I will show you what I can do. Lee opened the fourth gate and rushed at Gaara at speeds almost no one could track except Kakashi and a few of the shocked Jonin and the Hokage as he kicked Gaara totally high into the air. He punched Gaara from the front and, then, immediately in the back as he wrapped his wrappings around Gaara as the sand ninja fell, his sand no longer fast enough to protect him. Bones started to snap in Lee's body as he pulled Gaara forward, opening the fifth gate. Lee landed a punch right into Gaara's chest, sending him right into the ground. Reverse Lotus. Lee and Gaara were on the ground, the arena floor trashed and crushed like Lee's body felt. Everyone stared and were shocked as Lee struggled up and Gaara was huffing, laying on a blanket of sand, his hand open and extended as his sand wrapped around Lee's leg. Sand coffin. Lee screamed as Gaara was about to surround Lee with sand and kill him, but Guy interfered, causing Gaara to shake and not understanding this action. Why? He lost her already. I protect him as he's my precious student, Guy said as Gaara merely stared at them and Hayate quickly declared Gaara the winner. Naruto shook with anger as he threw himself over the bars holding him back and Sakura was about to do the same, but Kakashi stopped her. Sensei, she said, wanting to help somehow. Sakura, what can you do down there? Kakashi asked as he took his hand off of her and looked at Naruto, who was running toward the medical ninja, Lee and Guy. Naruto, I can't believe a person like Lee lost to a person like him. Naruto thought, glaring at Gaara, who stared at him calmly. Naruto stared at Lee as Guy was hearing the news from the medic. Sorry, but with his injuries, He might never be a shinobi. Naruto heard as Guy was frozen and Naruto was frozen as well as he saw Lee being taken away. What? Naruto said out loud softly, the information just coming into his brain. But Lee. He can't be. He has to be a ninja. He said he had to face Neji and Sasuke. How could he? Naruto looked to see Kakashi covering Naruto's mouth. Naruto, understand that Lee did this so he could fight Sasuke, Neji and even you in the future. Remember that, alright? Naruto nodded as Kakashi went to Guy and helped him go back up in the stands as Hayate finally declared, the preliminaries are now over. All the victors come to the floor to tell you about the third part of the exam. Naruto stood where he was unmoving until he finally clenched his fist and grew the most serious face he ever wore. I'll show everyone a genius of hard work, Lee. Just for you. Chapter 16. The prelims done, the third exam revealed. I congratulate you all for passing the preliminaries of the third exam. You all have shown wonderful skills for Jinan. The third said, smiling while holding his pipe as he looked at the passing ninja. Uzumaki Naruto stood there with a small smile and knowing that he passed. Haruno Sakura stood by Naruto, smiling and knowing that she showed everyone she wasn't as weak as everyone thought she was. Uchiha Sasuke, smirking at how he passed and shaking in anticipation in facing Gaara or Neji or even Naruto. Hyuga Neji stood calm and focused with hands resting on his chest. Tenten, holding a smile on her face for passing. Inuzuka Kiba, who was grinning at a happy Akamaru at passing. Narashikamaru stood yawning and put his hands behind his head. Bored, Yakashi Kabuto stood straight and calmly at the third. Tamari had a slight smile at passing, but inside she was worrying about Gaara almost releasing Shukaku. Gaara stood calmly as always. Washimura stood still and calmly while eyeing Gaara slightly, and, lastly, Bushido Kisuke stood grinning and passing while also glad Naruto passed. The Sarutobi just stood there, smiling at how many of Konohagakure shinobi passed. 8 out of 12 were shinobi of Konohagakure or so he thought. Now, I'll tell you about the third and final part of the Chunin exam and where and when it will take place. This caught a few of the Jinan's attention. Do you mean that we aren't doing the third exam here and now? Sasuke asked as the Hokage looked at the Uchiha and smiled. Yes, they will be held a month from now at an arena located in Konohagakure. This will allow for us to contact daimyo, Kijis and other shinobi leaders and officers. Also, it will allow you guys to train and strategize for the month about what opponents you could and will face. That will be a change from not knowing almost anything about your opponents. Thus, you will have a higher chance at passing with this knowledge, but that also means people will know some if not all of what you were capable of during the test. Now, you will each draw from the box to reveal the order of which you will fight in the exam. The Sarutobi gestured to Anko that was carrying a box. Naruto gulped as he looked at Anko remembering what she did to him and quickly pulled out a folded piece of paper. Anko went, then, to Sakura, who pulled out one as well and looked at it as Naruto went ahead and did that as well. Naruto saw a giant 2 in black ink of the paper. He peeked at Sakura's open one while she was trying to see what Sasuke's one was. He saw a giant 7 on her paper as he sighed in relief that he might not have to face her if she was 7. Sasuke looked at his and held it in his hand so no one aka Sakura couldn't see what he had got. The others went to taking out their papers until Kisuke smiled at Anko and grabbed his. Alright, tell me what number you guys have and I'll have a Viki posted on the paper he has. The third spoke as Anko went back up to the Hokage and other proctors. I have number 2, Naruto said as he watched Viki writing something on the paper in ink. I have number 7, Sakura said, looked at Sasuke wondering what he got. Number 9, Sasuke stated as he looked bored, but was secretly wondering who he would have to face. Number 4, Neji said calmly. I've got 8, Tenten said. I'm number 1, Kiba said with a grin as Shikamaru yawned. Number 5, Shikamaru said. I have number 11, Kabuto stated, moving his glasses up. Number 10, Tamari said. Number 12, Gaara stated, cold and calmly. I've got number 3, Washimura said, looking at Neji for a second. That leaves me at number 6, Kisuke said, looking at Shikamaru for a second. Alright, now we will show you who you are facing in the exam, Sarutobi said as Viki finished the setup and showed it off to them. It had Inuzuka Kiba vs Uzumaki Naruto as the first fight, Washimura vs Hyuga Neji as the second match, then Narashikamaru vs Bushido Kisuke in the first bracket of the exam. The next bracket was Haruno Sakura vs Tenten as the fourth match, Uchiha Sasuke vs Tamari as the fifth match and Yakashi Kabuto vs Sabaku no Gaara as the sixth match of the first round. The winner of the first and second match would face each other. The winners of the third and fourth match would face off, as with the winners of the fifth and sixth matches would face until the final three would go in a triple match. Kiba was grinning at who he had to face, and so was Naruto. Washimura looked at Neji, who looked back and smirked at him arrogantly. Sakura knew about Tenten being a weapon expert at the most, so she would have to rely on dodging the thrown weapons and strike the girl down when she could. Tenten breathed in relief, as she wouldn't have to face Neji until the free-for-all match if they made it that far. Sasuke was a little angry at not getting Gaara or Neji like he wanted, but he could possibly face Gaara once he beat the Tamari chick and Gaara beat Kabuto. Tamari looked to see Gaara a little agitated with not getting Uchiha Sasuke, Hyuga Neji or Uzumaki Naruto, as he had to deal with the four-eyed medic. Kisuke wasn't confident that he would beat the Nara, but knew that Shikamaru knew nothing of his abilities, while Kisuke knew a little of Shikamaru, causing the Nara to curse at his situation, feeling how troublesome it was. "Now, you all are dismissed." Everyone began leaving, ready to train for the exam up ahead. Chapter 17. The Demon Awakens, the training for the exam. Naruto walked with his teammates to his sensei, who was smiling at them. "Yo," he said, as they smiled at them, "I've already got people to help you with your guys' training. Sasuke will train with me, Sakura." Sakura looked at Kakashi, saying her name. "I got Kurenai to help you train with her team and Naruto." Kakashi looked as the third approached them with a smile. "I'll have the third tell you who your teacher is." The third chuckled as Team 7 turned to the Hokage. "Yes, Naruto-kun, I already have someone helping with your teaching." "You've already met him too." "Then, where is he?" Naruto asked, until he heard someone crashing into the room of the tower that they were in, long, spiky hair flowing from the tall man that appeared. Naruto's sweat dropped as he looked at who appeared before them. "Don't tell me." "Now, stand, young tree leaves and saplings, as I appear to dazzle your lives with how graceful." The man tripped on his sandal right then as everyone stared at him, sweat dropping. The man quickly rose up and started to do a dance, his sandals clashing with the floor. "I am the great man that causes women to swoon, meant to be jealous of my skills. I am the great Uro-Sennin." "Just stop," Naruto said with a deadpan expression as Jiraiya glared at the blonde. "Gaki," he roared at the Genin, "I already told you not to call that." "Then, stop doing that thing you call research and then I'll stop," Naruto yelled at the Sennin. "Never, you little twerp, I will continue to do my research until the day I die," Jiraiya cried out, laughing in joy as Sakura wondered what Naruto and this Sennin were talking about. "Naruto, what's this research you two are talking about?" Sakura asked while Jiraiya was ranted about his precious research. Naruto merely whispered, "Oh, he peeks at women in the hot spring, that's all." Sakura grew mega pissed right as she heard this, chakra going into her hand, clenched into a fist as she slowly approached the ranting Jiraiya. "Oh, what do you want, miss?" Jiraiya asked as he saw her approach. "Pervert," she exclaimed as her fist went right into Jiraiya's jaw and he flew back up toward the ceiling and then to the ground, grunting in pain. "Kami, she's another Tsunade," Jiraiya thought as he rose up and looked at the scowling Uchiha, the angry Haruno and bored yet kind of interested looking Uzumaki Kaze. "This team is reminding me of Tsunade, Orochimaru and me all the more." "You just had to do that, Jiraiya," the third said, sighing out of his pipe. Jiraiya grew serious. "Sarutobi-sensei, when did you get here?" A tick mark appeared on the Hokage's face. "I was here the whole time." "Oh, right." Jiraiya scratched the back of his head as he approached and looked at Naruto. "Are you ready to train, Naruto?" Jiraiya held a grin there as Naruto perked up a little, but looked seriously at Jiraiya for a second. "What is it, Gaki?" "If you don't peek at women and concentrate on me, I'll train, alright?" This made Jiraiya angry at his disciple. "Oh, no, you don't, Gaki. You are my pupil for a while and you will follow my orders," Jiraiya roared as the two began to argue. Kakashi sighed, "I'm glad that I'm not Jiraiya right now." Sakura smiled lightly at the arguing duo. "It seems like they know and are happy as they argue though." Sasuke scoffed at Sakura's comment. "Yeah, sure." As the two argued, the rest of Team 7 just watched at the argument, knowing that the two of them would get along after a while. 30. Kisuke looked at his sensei, masked as always. Kisuke scowled at his master, Hikari and Washimura beside him. "Keep the end of your deal, sensei," Kisuke said, seriously and coldly at his sensei as Hikari and Washimura just stood there, shocked at Kisuke's emotions showing through. "Show me who you really are." "It seems you did pass through the prelims, not the totally exam, but I'll reveal myself since I thought this would happen anyway." Their sensei took down his black hood, revealing the mask samurai wore. The man crushed the simple mask as Kisuke glared in rage at the man before him. His long, black spiky hair flowing down to his waist, his manly face holding his fierce black eyes and the two katanas that were held on his back. The man smirked at Kisuke, who glared even more at the man. "So, you figured it out, eh, Kisuke?" Kisuke held his hands into tight fists, fingernails poking at his palm as he looked at the man. "Just shut up, Bushido Takeshi." This shocked his two students as they looked at the two. Kisuke began to walk away to let out his anger, and his teammates just watched him leave. Washimura looked at his sensei. "Why did you not tell Kisuke who you were?" Takeshi sighed. "I had a mission from Anaki, the Tsuchikage, to become a liaison for other villages, and I came back just to become a Jonin sensei immediately after I came back. I thought Kisuke would hate me for leaving him like that, so I hid my face and identity. I will tell him as soon as he—" "No need, sensei," Kisuke said, listening in. "I thought you would have something like that to say. I forgive you slightly, but it'll take time to regain trust. After all, we had little with you to begin with since you hid your identity from us the whole time. Our training with you for the exam will help us grow closer, hopefully." Takeshi understood and nodded, and with that he began training his 3 students. 30. "So, since Lee is recovering from his serious injuries, I'll have to push you guys to the limit. I'll have to take you to the path of youth. How magnificent this month will be," Guy said, crying rivers of comical anime tears. The only thing was that no one was laughing at all. Neji looked freaked out as Guy forcefully, youthfully he would say, dragged him to the training ground with a scared Tenten. "Please," he cried out to the passing people that pretended to ignore the sight of the crying Hyuga. "He's kidnapped me. Help." Guy looked at Neji and frowned. "Neji, calling me a kidnapper is very unyouthful. Extra training for you. By the time the 3rd exam rolls in, you're going to be as youthful as me, sporting this classy attire that I wear today." Tenten's sweat dropped. "You wear that jumpsuit every day?" Neji began to shiver before crying out a no. "Before the world." Guy laughed as he ran at high speed to reach the training grounds, his youthful train grounds, so he can youthfully train his youthful students. It's just so much youth. 30. Sakura dodged the strike Kiba tried to get her. She did a few hand signs, putting a minor genjutsu on Kiba, and quickly, before Akamaru could get him out of it, landed a strong punch on the dog ninja, launching him across the training grounds, still shocking Kurenai, Hinata, and Shino, even though he didn't show it, at how much strength the Haruno had in her. "Shanaro. Bring on the next thing." Inner Sakura cheered as Sakura smiled. Kurenai wondered secretly how much fun it would be teaching both Hinata and Sakura genjutsu. She always wanted a student that had great chakra control, and while Hinata was not close to Sakura's control, the Hyuga could still learn some minor genjutsu. She watched as Kiba rose from the ground with Akamaru in tow as always. "Kiba, go on to your home and train since I'll be busy with Sakura and Hinata after all. Your family can teach you more for the 3rd exam than I can," Kurenai said as Kiba looked at her and nodded. "All right," Kiba said, grinning at Akamaru. "Let's go, Akamaru." Akamaru backed happily in reply as Kiba raced home. Shino departed as Kurenai began teaching the girls genjutsu. 30. "You know the plan during the exam," Baki said to his students as they nodded. "Remember that, as it'll be important for this to be a success to show our feudal lord our power as Sunagakuer." They nodded again and went to train, and except Gaara, who went to his room. Baki sighed as he saw Kabuto approach and give him the plans, though there was no one to overhear their discussion. "I just hope this runs smoothly." Baki went into his room to look at the plans, and to start to prepare for the invasion of Konohagakure. 30. Sasuke was huffing, exhausted from training and increasing his taijutsu and speed for Kakashi's technique, the Chidori, 1,000 birds. He just hoped it wasn't just 1,000 pecking birds in the end. He heard the close of a book and turned to see Kakashi smiling at him. "That'll be all for now, Sasuke," Kakashi said, patting his shoulder. "Take a break for a while and, then, you can train some more." Sasuke cursed, but nodded in understanding as he dropped and rested for a bit. After all, this technique could help him defeat his opponents in one strike. He smirked slightly, knowing he was going to become even stronger. 30. Naruto snickered at the deal he made with Jiraiya as he saw the Gama-sanin write out Naruto's lessons for the month while giggling. Naruto told Jiraiya could peek all he wanted if he gave Naruto a scroll to go by and brought him ramen every day for the month of training. Little did Jiraiya know how much ramen Naruto could eat in a day. Naruto gladly took the lesson plan and went to work as Jiraiya hid in his bushes and actually turned invisible for a second as Naruto wasn't paying attention. Naruto merely did what the lesson plan said: make many clones, battle royale, fall off of cliff, QB appear, become scared, talk arrogantly to the fox about rent, summon giant frog since you signed the contract, come back, big hero, many ladies for Jiraiya. Naruto sweat dropped at the plan, but decided to go with it. He did multiple shadow clone technique and did as Jiraiya told him to do, beat the crap out of his clones until he was left. Eventually, he was standing, Not looking too terrible but not terrific either. Damn it. Naruto thought to himself. I just want to get to see that damned fox. He saw the cliff and felt someone behind him. He turned to see Jiraiya appear instantly behind him in a flash and felt the Sennin push him into the cliff. Wait. He wasn't there a moment ago. Naruto had more things to worry about as he began to fall into the cliff. Well, at least Jiraiya is taking this a little seriously and wanting to get it done. Naruto thought as he went through the hand signs, but Sending felt something pull him into his mind, something pulling him into himself. Naruto opened his eyes to see himself in a dark sewer as water dripped onto the ground, making a splashing sound as Naruto moved toward where an opening was. Like he thought, the narrow passageway he was going through began to widen and widen until he reached an opening. He looked at the giant cage before him with a paper-labeled seal on where the lock would be. He saw movement and suspected that to be the fox. Flickering eyes with slits in the middle almost like a pupil of a human eye looked at him, tails moving back and forth as a growl emitted from the beast's lips. Naruto gasped at the being before him for a moment, entranced by the huge, powerful feeling the fox emitted from its body. Kyuubi no Kitsune. The Kyuubi stared at his host, malevolence radiating from the fox's body. So, my host finally comes to see me. Kyuubi no Kitsune. Naruto said, silently in awe of the creature. What purpose are you here, boy? I know you didn't come to just chat merrily about life to me. What is it you want, Ningen? Naruto smirked as he imagined chains and they began to constrict the Kyuubi, causing the nine tails to widen his eyes in fear and recognition of what the boy held at his disposal. Kushina. The fox whispered in anger, recognizing the chakra chains restraining him. They're weaker than Kushina's but can still hold me down for a while. Is the boy just planning to chain me down instead of using the wide-open cage? I'd rather be in this cage than chained like Kushina had me. What do you want, boy? He growled at the Genin. Naruto just stared at the fox fiercely. Just pay me some rent and I'll let you stay in the cage instead of chaining you down. How about that? After all, you're using my body after all. He grinned fiercely at the fox, almost as if it was the kitsune's smile instead of his own. This made the bijou laugh. You have guts, I tell you that, kid. Just for that, I'll let you borrow my chakra for once. Be grateful, brat. Red chakra swarmed Naruto as the kitsune laughed inside his cage and Naruto awoke to reality. This feeling. Naruto thought as he bit his thumb and went through the hand signs until he felt chakra surround him and his extended hand, reaching for survival. Summoning technique. A giant puff of smoke appeared as Naruto felt himself land on something huge. Gamabunta appeared, roaring about where Jiraiya summoned him. Naruto awoke on the big toad and smiled at what he accomplished as he cheered. The thing is that his cheering got Gamabunta's attention as the boss toad grabbed Naruto by his tongue and looked at the boy. Gamabunta gasped while Naruto looked in awe and surprise at the huge toad before him. The fourth. This boy must be his son that is Kyuubi sealed inside him. That would explain why he summoned me and not Jiraiya. He must have been put into the scroll. It seems you were able to summon me, boy. Naruto noticed the way Gamabunta spoke to him, in familiarity. You know who I am, Big Toad. The boss toad sighed. My name is Gamabunta, kid, the boss of the toads of Mount Myaboku. Next time you summon me, we might be able to share some sake, eh? Naruto had a comical expression on his face. I'm not even close to be that age. Boss toad Gamabunta. Gamabunta looked at the boy. Well, I'll be going, kid. I'm going to fling you here in a second so watch where you're going. Naruto said smartly as he was flung into the air by Gamabunta's tongue and crashed into the bathing area of the women, causing Jiraiya to reveal himself, bloody nose included, cheering that he was in nirvana and thanking his disciple and the toad. The women looked at Jiraiya, put on towels and raced after the pervert as Naruto rose from the debris of the wall of the bath. He made a few clone and quickly repaired it. Naruto suddenly saw his master disappear like he was invisible from the angry women and appear before him, the women rushing to the repaired bath to finish up and not worry about the pervert for now. You've got to teach me that jutsu, Uro-senin. Jiraiya replied, not really listening. Teach you what, brat? That technique you used to become invisible, Naruto exclaimed as Jiraiya smiled. His student wanted to know his special technique that he used to peek on women. You mean my transparency technique? Alright, I'll teach it to you. Naruto grinned in happiness. Yes. Jiraiya chuckled at his excitement. Let's get to it then. Perhaps you can even learn that as well. After all, it was your father's jutsu. 28 days later. Naruto was going to the hospital to check on Rock Lee, after all the training he was doing. He walked after remembering the talk with Jiraiya yesterday. Alright, Naruto. That is the last training you have before the exam in 2 days. I want you to be able to relax and be ready for the exam the day after tomorrow. I don't want you exhausted from training for a month after all I taught you. Jiraiya looked proud of Naruto. He learned everything quicker than he thought the boy could. Uro-sennin, what is it, Gaki? Jiraiya yelled, irritated with his student. Thanks for everything you've taught me as my sensei. Naruto smiled sincerely at his teacher, who grinned and ruffled Naruto's head of blonde, mountain range-styled hair. It was my pleasure, Naruto, Jiraiya said, patting Naruto's back before Naruto raced off, waving at Jiraiya. The Gamma-sennin chuckled at the departing Naruto. That boy will be something great. Jiraiya turned and departed himself, going toward the Hokage's office to tell him about the Akatsuki, Orochimaru's invasion and Naruto's progress. The man sighed, the exam might be when I have to finally deal with you, rival. Naruto burst into the hospital and went up to the desk as he looked at the receptionist and asked what room Lee was in to get an answer of room 333. Naruto rushed up the flights of stairs and heard noise from Lee's room, 3 voices from the closed door. Naruto approached the door and silently opened it, glad he didn't wear his orange jumpsuit and pants today to get caught, opting for a black shirt with an Uzumaki swirl and black pants. He listened in through the crack of the door, his ear perked up to the crack. In order to make me the world's strongest shinobi, my father used ninjutsu to implant an incarnation of sand, the Shukaku, inside me. Naruto recognized the voice as Gaara's cold tone. To go that far is crazy, that kind of possession art used on you by your father, that's some tough love. That was Shikamaru's voice. Love? Gaara's voice said in coldness. Don't talk of this love and judge me by your standards. Family, let me tell you what that means to me. A mere huddle of flesh held together by murderous intent and hatred. Naruto shook as Gaara spoke that sentence and felt that Shikamaru and whoever else was in there with Lee and Gaara shook as well. My mother sacrificed herself for the sake of me becoming a weapon for the village and being born the Kage's son. My father handled me with care like I was a blade that could turn and cut him at any moment. At first, I thought all of this was this love of which you speak, but I knew this wasn't when it happened. Gaara spoke, growing silent. What happened? Naruto recognized this as the voice of his female teammate, Sakura. The accident, Gaara spoke almost to himself, seeing his uncle and how he was going to kill him. His father sending his gold dust to defeat and suppress the Shukaku after Gaara went crazy. Tell us already. This voice Naruto recognized as Kiba, finally noticing Akamaru's whining. Why are these two here with Shikamaru? To see Lee and how he's doing. When I turned 6, the Kage sent assassination attempts at me, one after another, Gaara said in a crazy psychotic voice, shocking everyone to the core. But you said your father spoiled you rotten earlier, Shikamaru said, shocked. A weapon begins to be held in contempt and held with care. Gaara spoke, looking fiercely at the trio. My father began to fear what I was becoming. Since all that happened, I kept asking myself, why do I live? Why do I exist? Everyone has to have a reason to exist or there is no point in them living at all. So I decided that I will live for myself, love only myself, and I will live to kill those who try to kill me. That way I can continue to exist for as long as there are people on this earth. Naruto shook as Gaara's sinister smile became a wicked, demented grin. I will not cease to exist. He's just like me before I found Iruka-sensei, Kakashi-sensei, Sakura-chan, Sasuke, Oji-san, and even Uro-sennin. Naruto thought with a chuckle at mentioning the sage before looking at Gaara sadly. He has that look in his eyes, the eyes that I used to wear, the eyes of hatred. I even saw them inside that damned fox as well, though I shouldn't be surprised by that. He's lived in the darkness for longer than I have, I'm in the light now. Will his darkness? Naruto gulped in his thoughts, conquer my light, my love fade at the sight of his hatred? Can I even hope to defeat him? Can anybody hope to defeat someone like this? Naruto and the others shook until the blonde looked and saw as Gaara-san surrounded the room, ready to strike Shikamaru, Kiba, and Sakura. No shit. Shikamaru thought with Kiba as Gaara looked even more crazed and diabolical. Let me feel alive. Gaara screamed as Naruto barely noticed Guy behind him as he stormed in, wind blazing around him to attack the sand. What are you doing? Just wait for the exam tomorrow, Guy said, getting in there before Naruto, causing the Genin to stop his wind and look at Sakura, Kiba, and Shikamaru. Naruto saw Gaara, his sand shifting back to his gourd, gripping his head as he moved to the door, looking back at Guy, Naruto and the others. Gaara spoke these words before heading out, I'll kill you all. Just you wait. Naruto saw Guy wish them all luck and be very youthful in the exam tomorrow with his usual nice guy pose before heading out as well. Naruto sighed, turned and smiled at Sakura, Shikamaru, and Kiba. Hey, guys. Sakura lightly smiled at her teammate. Hey, Naruto, how did your training go? Naruto grinned at her. You'll see tomorrow. Kiba grinned. Naruto, you may have improved, But me and Akamaru are going to wipe the floor with you. Akamaru barked happily in reply in Kiba's jacket. We'll see, Kiba, Naruto said with a smile, and he bumped fists with Kiba as the Inuzuka left and Naruto turned to Shikamaru with a smile. How you doing, Shikamaru? Shikamaru sighed and lightly smiled. You should know that already, Naruto. Naruto chuckled in reply. Well, I've got to go get me some Ichirakus before I head back home for the night. See you tomorrow, guys, Naruto said, smiling and waving at Sakura and Shikamaru as he departed. See you tomorrow, Naruto, Sakura said, smiling at how much he was going to show Naruto, Sasuke and Lee what she was capable of. 30. Naruto raced home after talking to Iruka about his training with Jiraiya, which caused Iruka to spit his soup into Ayame's unlucky face. Iruka apologized multiple times to the waitress, only for her kindly tell him it was okay and that she would wash it off while her dad watched the store before it closed. Naruto was grinning, definitely knowing he could beat Kiba. Hyuga Neji might be a problem that Naruto worried about, but for now, he needed to relax and get a lot of sleep. The next day would be way longer than anyone thought it would be. 30. Naruto cursed, searching through his clothes, wearing a pair of froggy boxers and a black t-shirt with a red Uzumaki spiral. He grabbed a pair of his orange pants and put them on his legs. If he didn't get out of his apartment and rush to the arena, he would be late. He grabbed his orange jacket and put it on his chest as he held his forehead protector and rushed out of his apartment. His headband was being wrapped by his hands onto his forehead as he ran, his hands fiddling with the ends of the headband and tying the parts of fabric together. He rushed onto the roofs of the buildings in the village, knowing that it would be a close one. He kept going until he saw the arena in sight, having his wind chakra make him go even faster. He stopped right as he hit the arena and went inside. He sighed in relief when he saw the clock say that there was still a few minutes before the exam started. Naruto walked confidently into the line of people facing the crowd, placing himself between Shikamaru and Sakura. He smiled at the two, who smiled back, but Naruto could tell something was worrying his crush. Sakura, the pink-haired girl, looked at Naruto. What's up? I know something's up with you. You can tell me, I'm your teammate. Naruto grinned at her to show her he would understand and tell her what he thought. It's Sasuke-kun, she said to Naruto, causing Naruto to notice Sasuke wasn't in the line with the other competitors. He's not here at all. Where could he be? I bet it's Kakashi-sensei holding him back by reading his book, making Sasuke-kun late. Naruto got Sakura's attention and smiled at her. I'm sure that Sasuke will get his butt here. He wouldn't let Kakashi-sensei hold him back from this. He would rush past Kakashi, grunt in displeasure at what Kakashi was doing to him, and run all the way here to compete. Sakura smiled. Yeah. Thanks, Naruto. Hayate coughed as he got their attention. Just look at the stands proudly, guys. After all, you're the shinobi that represent not only your clan and family, but your country and village. Show them what you can do in these exams. They all looked at the stands. The people in the stands looked back in anticipation for the matches. The shinobi that would be shown today that could become leaders tomorrow were looking at them, showing fire in their eyes. Chapter 18. The third exam begins, the first half, hard work, fate, and wit. The candidates for the exam sure look eager. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Aniki of both scales approached with his bodyguard, Kichi, was next to him as he sat next to the Sandaime Hokage, smiling at the old man. Unlike what people thought of Aniki, he didn't hate Konohagakure as much as people thought. He also was somewhat friends with Hiruzen since they both had their students betray their villages. I can't wait to see what these matches hold. What about you, Hokage? The third smiled at the Sandaime Tsuchikage. Oh, I can't wait to see what these genins show too. The old man looked down and smiled at the tree leaves he saw that were becoming shinobi before his eyes. Though it seems that Kakashi is late with Sasuke as usual, Sarutobi cited Kakashi's habit of being late, even though most of the time, it was because Kakashi would stand by the monument for those killed in action and lose track of time every day he went. At least Sasuke's fight is later in the exam. Aniki heard what the Hokage said and looked to the man. You mean Sharingan Hatake Kakashi? And, from what I heard and see in this pamphlet, he showed the document to Sarutobi. This Sasuke is Uchiha Sasuke, the last Uchiha, the one Uchiha Itachi didn't kill. Sarutobi merely nodded. That is correct, Tsuchikage. I'm more interested in other matches than his, though the Uchiha might be interesting to watch. I'm interested in that blonde fellow, Uzumaki Naruto is his name, correct? Aniki spoke to the Sandaime Hokage, who held his gulp, not wanting to show his true feelings about Aniki knowing about Naruto. He feared of what Aniki would do when he learns Naruto is the son of the man that costed his village the third great shinobi war, Namikaze Minato, the late Yondaime Hokage, the Yellow Flash. Yes, that's his name, Hiruzen said to Aniki. What caught your fancy when you saw the boy? He reminds me of that fourth Hokage of yours, Namikaze Minato. That hair and eyes are just like that man's, though the boy's face is definitely different, so I don't know. Is the boy the son of the Yondaime Hokage, Hiruzen? And before you dismiss me, it has nothing to do with what the Yellow Flash did to my village's shinobi in the war, no matter how mad I was about that when it happened. It's just my curiosity getting the best of me. Please, tell me, Hiruzen. Sarutobi sighed and whispered the truth in the Tsuchikage's ear. This made Aniki widen his eyes at the reality of the situation. Aniki grinned at Hiruzen a little. That damn Raikage would be after the boy in Flash if he knew about that boy and his family. You know that, Hiruzen? The third Hokage took a little smoke of his pipe and sighed out the smoke as he nodded. Yes, after all, he already tried to kidnap not only Naruto's mother, Uzumaki Kushina, for her chakra chains, but also, the Hyuga heiress, Hyuga Hinata, before with his head ninja sneaking into the estate and taking her for the power of the Byakugan she held like any other Hyuga. That's why I'm secretly glad he didn't come this year, but neither did the Mizukage. Oh well, Aniki said as he saw the Kazekage come forth with his two bodyguards. Oh, well, looks who has appeared, the Kazekage. Aniki pretended to care, but secretly, glared at the Kazekage. After all, their two villages were enemies for a very long time. How are you doing? Alright, Tsuchikage. Aniki could sense the malice in the Kazekage's voice as he went to his eat by Hiruzen. I'm very interested with the exam and how it will play out, aren't you too, Hokage? Hiruzen smiled at the Kazekage and said, yes, I'm interested as well, Kazekage. Aniki just smirked. So, that youngster of a Kazekage is just going to ignore me, eh? It'll be interesting to see what his son and daughter do in the exam though. Isn't one of them the Jinchuriki of the Ichibi no Shukaku? Sarutobi smiled as he rose up from the seat, heading out so that everyone could look at him as he told everyone that the third exam was about to start. Citizens of Kanehagakur, Iwagakur, Sunagakur, and any other village or land, I welcome you all to the Chunin exam tournament held this year in Kanehagakur. I'm very privileged to have my village hold the exams this year. Now, these 12 talented Junon competitors will compete in this tournament to determine who will become Chunin, nominated by Daimyo, citizens' input, and the Kages. I hope you enjoy the tournament and thank you for attending. The third Hokage turned to hear the clapping and cheering of the crowd as he sat down into his chair to view the tournament. You said, 12, Sarutobi. Where is this 12 competitor? Right as the Kazekage said this, Nameyashi Raito appeared and whispered something in the Hokage's ear, to which the Hokage nodded and Raito appeared against the wall. Well, Sarutobi, I only see 11 on the floor. Uchiha Sasuke should be coming now with his sensei, Hatake Kakashi. I'm guessing they will be here just in time for his match. Knowing how that lazy Jonin works, Sarutobi sighed at Kakashi's actions of being late as Aniki chuckled. As long as there are interesting fights, I don't care about this Uchiha coming or not, Aniki said as he saw the other Junon besides Uzumaki Naruto and who Aniki guessed was Inuzuka Kiba. It seems to have started. Let's watch. They all looked at Naruto and Kiba, awaiting what would happen in the match. 30. Naruto quickly attached two seals to his wrists, blocking his two Kekai Genkai from appearing during the battle. He looked up and saw Lee in the stands, thanks to Guy wearing his green jumpsuit, eyeing Naruto to see what he would do against Kiba. Kiba was smirking as he got into his taijutsu stance. Let's see what you can do, Naruto. Naruto grinned as he got into his own stance. Oh, you'll see something, Kiba. Hayate Gecko coughed as he looked at the two Kanehagakur Junon. Match 1, Inuzuka Kiba vs Uzumaki Naruto will begin. He paused as he coughed again and lifted his arm. Now. He lowered his arm and backed away from the two. Akamaru was beside Kiba as he gave Akamaru a pill which turned Akamaru red, and he took one as well. Let's go, Akamaru. Akamaru barked and landed on Kiba's back as he made a hand sign. Beast human clone. Naruto looked to see Akamaru turn into Kiba as the two grinned at Naruto. We'll show you what we can do. Come, Akamaru. The duo charged Naruto as Naruto merely smirked and made some hand signs. Wind release, great breakthrough. The technique blew Kiba and Akamaru back right as they were going to do a fang passing fang. Kiba launched a smoke bomb, making Naruto curse as he and Akamaru used their smell and hit Naruto. They looked as the smoke dissipated, people shocked to see Naruto laying on the ground, only to poof into smoke. Kiba growled and turned only to see Naruto punch Kiba in the face with Akamaru growling and charging at Naruto, who kicked him away. You're better than I thought, Naruto, Kiba said with a grin. It seems you know my clan's techniques too. Hinata was looked from the stands, not knowing who to cheer for, her friend and teammate or her crush. It broke her as she saw the two confront and hit each other with techniques and blows. Sakura looked at Naruto and figured out something. Naruto seems to be holding back quite a bit from what we saw in the Chunin exams even. How much stronger has he become compared to my growth? Quit being cocky, bastard. I'm not finished with you. Kiba thought secretly as he looked at the smirking Uzumaki he was fighting. Let's see what you can do against my new technique. But first, the Inuzuka made a hand sign and grinned. Four legs technique. Naruto was surprised when Kiba zoomed toward him and landed a big hit on him, knocking him back quite a bit as he looked at the grinning Inuzuka and barely noticed Akamaru doing the same in his beast clone form. Akamaru pushed him to the edge of the arena as Naruto rose up and looked at the Inuzuka duo. Naruto, then, made a series of hand signs and grinned at Kiba. Transparent escape technique. Naruto shocked everyone when he turned invisible. That's Jiraiya's jutsu. Hiruzen thought, shocked the Gamma Sennin would teach that to Naruto. What made him teach Naruto something he didn't even teach Minato? He slightly blushed at the memory of Jiraiya explaining the jutsu to him while he was tied to the post after the bell test. Where did Naruto go? Kiba thought as he sniffed around until his eyes widened. He turned around just to see Naruto's fist land on. Naruto smirked at the fallen Kiba before going through a series of hand signs. Wind style, vacuum sphere. Naruto expelled the wind he blew into his mouth as he launched the wind blasts at Kiba only for Akamaru to guard his master, reverting back to his animal form after being damaged. Akamaru, Kiba exclaimed and picked up his partner after getting up from the ground. Akamaru awoke and was able to stand and attack, but was getting weak. Time to do that jutsu, our last resort, Akamaru. Akamaru knew what was going on and went with Kiba as the hand signs came together. Human-beast combination transformation. Double-headed wolf. Everyone looked in surprise as Kiba and Akamaru were a giant two-headed wolf, growling at Naruto, who was shocked before getting serious, tapping into the Kyuubi's chakra a little, making his eyes have slits. He went through the familiar series of hand signs when he had a life-or-death situation and used all his chakra to summon Gamabunta to the field. Fang Wolf Fang. Kiba and Akamaru crashed into Gamabunta, only for the Basto to curse and pull out his blade as he cut through the wolf, causing Akamaru and Kiba to change back into themselves and crash very roughly into the ground below. Naruto quickly put his paralysis seals on the two and made the hand sign, keeping Kiba and Akamaru from moving. You put up a good battle, Kiba, but I win. Hayate coughed and looked at what happened, smiling at the good match to start the tournament. Winner of the match won, Uzumaki Naruto. Sakura smiled and yelled out, Naruto won. She started to laugh joyfully when the crowd started to clap and cheer. It seems that Uzumaki Naruto has grown quite a bit, Danzo-sama. A Neo-root ninja spoke to his master, Danzo, on the stands of the arena. What do you think? It also seems like he knows techniques that I use like my wind release, vacuum sphere. He may have seen me training that one day when I was talking to Hiruzen. Just keep a watch over him for me. After all, I will have the Kyuubi in my possession at some point. I'll just be patient until the time comes where I will strike. Orochimaru should be here and about to release the invasion on Konoha. That's when I will take my shot at obtaining the position of Hokage. Danzo spoke as he turned and moved out of the stands, toward the exit of the arena. I'll be watching you, Ninetales. Uzumaki Naruto. Gaara thought as he looked at the boy releasing his hold on the seals and helping up Kiba. Anybody could say that the Shukaku Jinchuriki had a look of anticipation, eyes and smile wide. Lee looked at Naruto and smiled. Naruto was showing me a genius of hard work, not using his Kekai Genkai at all. Great job, Naruto. Guy had youthful tears streaming down his eyes. Naruto's battle was so youthful, it makes me cry in youthful passion, pride. Just so much youth. Naruto smiled at Kiba, who laughed at Naruto and punched the blonde lightly in the shoulder. You were amazing out there, dude. No way could I have won. Naruto smiled genuinely, thanks, dude. They walked to the stand where the competitors were held. Aniki smiled at the match. That was an amazing start to the tournament. What do you two think? Hiruzen got rid of his shock at what Naruto displayed out there and smiled proudly, like Naruto was his grandson. Yes, it was a wonderful start and a splendid match. Don't you agree, Kazekage? The Kazekage looked at Naruto, surprised at the Jinchuriki's power. The boy never ceases to amaze me. He unconsciously licked his lips with his strangely long tongue. Kazekage. This got the man's attention. The match was an amazing one. Definitely a fitting start to the tournament. Sarutobi relaxed a little at hearing the Kazekage speak and brought his attention to the arena where Washimura and Hyuga Neji faced off, Hayate telling them to start. Neji, my pupil, Guy yelled at his student. May the youth be with you. He got into a nice guy pose which caused Neji to sweat drop at the reference and looked at Orochimaru with a smirk. Fate has allowed me this chance, for vengeance. Neji's voice was sinister, more evil than it usual was as he quickly rushed to the confused Orochimaru and hit a few of Orochimaru's chakra points before the ninja from Iwagakure backed away. He summoned an eagle and had it charge at the Hyuga before Neji could dodge. Neji smirked and did rotation on the giant bird to cause it to shriek and disappear in a cloud of smoke. Neji was shocked when a rock-covered fist hit his face and knocked him into the arena wall. Orochimaru charged at Neji and was about to hit the boy, but the Hyuga struck him in the chest with a gentle fist strike. Blood spat out of the Iwa ninja's mouth. "Why," Orochimaru muttered to Neji, "why did you tell me that this was a chance? For vengeance. For revenge. My father was used as a sacrifice to protect the Byakugan from getting into the enemy's hands, and since by fate, my father was born after his twin brother, he had to bear the caged bird seal and died in the stead of his brother," Neji said as Hayate called the victory Neji's. "And now fate gave me a chance to claim vengeance and I took it. Farewell, Orochimaru." Orochimaru was carried by medics as Neji smirked and went to the stands only for him to be face to face with Naruto. "What do you want?" Neji asked, holding his smirk until Naruto looked at him fiercely and back away from the Hyuga. "When I face you in the next round, I'll show you how to defy fate," Naruto said, fiercely yet calmly as Neji scoffed and went back to Tenten, ignoring the blonde. Shikamaru sighed, "My match already." "Come on, lazy bones," Kisuke said, grinning as he shoved his opponent off the railing, shocking everyone there. Kisuke eagerly dropped down onto the ground in the arena, looking down at Shikamaru. "Come on, Shikamaru. Knock him out with a 64-hit combo," Ino yelled, making everyone sweat drop at her actions. "Troublesome women," Shikamaru said as he got up to his feet. "Troublesome opponent, troublesome tournament, troublesome exam." Choji was eating chips. I bet Shikamaru quits during his match. Ino was shocked Choji would say that about their teammate. Choji, he may be lazy, but you can see by the way he went down from the stands he was anticipating his match. "Go, Shikamaru." Choji sweat dropped at Ino. He was shoved out by his eager opponent. Ino didn't hear Choji, focusing on Shikamaru in the match. Hayate started the match as Kisuke pulled out his blade and passed chakra through them. He grinned and rushed at Shikamaru, surprising everyone with his speed, as Shikamaru barely dodged the slices from the blades. Naruto thought the match was boring overall. The only interesting part was when Shikamaru caught Kisuke in his shadow with a cunning plan that was worthy of a Chunin or Jonin, only to give up since he ran out of chakra, angering Naruto. Kisuke was declared the winner for having to strike and avoid, making him feel more exhausted than what he was. "That Nara kid was smart, more worthy to become Chunin than anyone I have seen yet," the Tsuchikage said, seeing the Hokage and Kaze Kage agree. Hayate called down the next match of competitors, Haruno Sakura vs Tenten. Naruto wished luck to Sakura as she went down with Tenten. Sakura put her hand forth and smiled at the shocked Tenten. "I just want to show I hold no grudge at whoever wins. I wish that you would shake my hand as a sign of sportsmanship." Tenten smiled at Sakura's thought. "Sure, Sakura." She extended her hand and grasped Sakura's hand. They both smiled as they shook hands and, then, separated their hands and changed instantly. "That doesn't mean I won't take it easy on you, Sakura." Sakura smirked, "Neither did I." Hayate Gecko coughed, "Made the fourth match, Haruno Sakura vs Tenten. Begin." He backed away, allowing the two kunoichi to start their match. Chapter 19, Showing Your Worth, the Uchiha's appearance and the strength achieved from training. Sakura flew back on her feet elegantly as Tenten produced a couple kunai and shuriken and threw them at her. Sakura dodged the projectiles easily and rushed forward by focusing chakra to her feet as Tenten was shocked and was hit by Sakura's chakra-coated punch. Tenten flew back and hit the ground fiercely as she groaned at how strong the other kunoichi's punch was. Sakura went through some hand signs and looked fiercely at Tenten. "I'll show them all what I'm capable of," Sakura thought as she felt the genjutsu take over Tenten. Demonic nightmarish hell illusion technique. Tenten was standing in a training field. The sun was rising as she saw her teammates and teacher as usual. Something was up though as the three landed near her and smiled at her. "Wasn't I facing Sakura in the Chunin exam a minute ago?" Tenten thought as she saw the other members of Team 9 approach, creepy grins on their face. That was when she finally noticed in horror that not only Guy and Lee were wearing the infamous green jumpsuit, but Neji was wearing it as well. "What the hell is going on here?" The three approached her, carrying a green jumpsuit in their hands, chanting, "One of us, one of us, Tenten is one of us." She shook her head in horror as Guy said, "Youth will set you free. Youth will set you free." Tenten quickly realized that it was a genjutsu and made the release sign only to feel a crushing pain in her side. Her eyes widened in reality as she was flung across the arena like a rag doll by another of Sakura's punches. She skidded across the arena and finally got up to see Sakura, smiling in success at her plan. "You used genjutsu to catch me off guard and punched me to get some damage on me so I won't be able to fight as well." Tenten made some hand signs as she thought about this match. "I have to end this quickly or I will lose to her. Time to release the rising twin dragons." Tenten noticed Sakura completed a series of hand signs but paid it no mind as her two scrolls full of weapons appeared and she went up into the air, opening the giant scrolls. She flung all kinds of weapons at Sakura once the scrolls were open. Kunai, shuriken, sickles, and more were thrown down at Sakura, filling the battlefield with dust and weapons. Tenten went down as her scrolls vanished, huffing in success that her jutsu worked on Sakura and saw that Sakura had blood all over her, cuts covering her body, a frightened face on her body. "Sakura-chan." That cry shook everyone in the stadium. It was the cry of one Uzumaki Naruto, rushing down to the arena and full out crying at the very injured Sakura, still smiling and chuckling weakly. He shook her like she was just asleep. "Sakura-chan, wake up. Sakura, wake up. Please, Sakura-chan, wake up." He kept crying and Tenten was frozen in shock and horror. She killed Haruno Sakura. She didn't even mean to kill Sakura, not even close. She just wanted to win the match and become Chunin. She didn't mean to do this, not at all. She shook as she watched the scene until she felt something on her shoulder. Her eyes flew open as she saw that she was on the ground of the arena, groaning as she got up and noticed that the coughing proctor was helping her up. She looked to see that Sakura was no longer there, no longer bloody. There was no Naruto, crying out, wishing that Sakura was alive and that she would wake up, in denial that Tenten killed her. She looked at the proctor, wondering what the hell was going on. Hayate coughed a little and then looked at Tenten. "Haruno Sakura was called the winner of your match. She trapped you in another genjutsu right as you would use your jutsu to make you think you've won while she used her chakra to power her punches and quicken her speed in order to strike you down and make sure that you wouldn't get up. Quite an intelligent plan, I should say." Tenten nodded. She was saddened that she didn't win but acknowledged that Sakura showed her abilities and combined them with her intelligence to take her down. She was a strong, intelligent kunoichi and she would be glad that she faced her. Tenten didn't think she would be able to beat that Kisuke dude after her battle with Sakura anyway. She went over to the stands and went up the stairs as she saw Sakura and Naruto chatting a little. "I wonder where Sasuke-kun is. His match is next. He could be disqualified just because Kakashi-sensei is late. Damned lazy sensei of ours." "Sakura-chan, I'm sure Kakashi is just waiting until the last moment to appear and be all cool like, oh, sorry we were so late. Like he usual does for us. Sasuke would force Kakashi to be here so he could participate." Sakura smiled at Naruto. "You're right, Naruto. He should be here soon." Sakura, then, noticed the approaching Tenten. "Hey, nice fight we had there." Tenten smiled sadly at Sakura. "Yeah, nice fight we had." Naruto noticed how Tenten was acting, frowning, until he approached her and smiled. "Hey, Tenten. You did really well out there. I was amazed at how you threw all of those weapons and the strength you had. You're a really strong kunoichi." Tenten lightly blushed at the praise she got from the rambunctious blonde in front of her. She was never really praised by anyone around her age besides Lee. Neji usually just ignored her, only telling her slight helpful hints every now and then. Complimenting her was as rare as seeing a blue moon. She smiled at Naruto, surprising the boy. "Thank you, Naruto and Sakura, you both did wonderful in your matches as well." Tenten spoke to the two and she heard Neji scoff at them afterward. "Tenten, quit acknowledging the praise of these rookies that hold no clan of honor to cling to. They're nobodies in the ninja world. I can't believe you lost to one of them, Tenten." Naruto's fingernails dug slightly into his palms as they closed into fists in rage at what Neji said to Tenten, who looked at the ground shamefully. "I don't know who you are, but you don't talk to a teammate like that. You should at least give her acknowledgement when she got this far." "Why should I acknowledge someone who failed to beat someone who is trash?" Neji asked as he looked at Naruto, who was growing angrier at this Hyuga Neji, this arrogant prick. "Naruto, I can deal with Neji-kun," Tenten whispered behind Naruto, looking at her teammate. "He's always like this, always. Not acknowledging your strengths, putting you down like you're nothing? That's not a teammate to me. That's not a friend to me," Naruto yelled, scowling at the Hyuga. "I'm going to wipe the floor with you and show you what I'm all about. Hard work can beat genius any day." Secretly, Naruto felt like a hypocrite, saying he was about hard work yet he held two Kekkei Genkais in his veins. He was a wonder in the ninja world, a threat, a monster. Naruto worked hard though, not focusing on his Kekkei Genkais at all during the training, for Lee, for Tenten, for Sakura, for Sasuke, for Kakashi, for Jiraiya, for Iruka, for the third Hokage, and, most importantly, for himself. He wanted to show everyone he wouldn't rely on his Kekkei Genkai, learning jutsu without them, struggling when he could have breezed through the training. He wanted to show everyone what he could do. Neji just smirked and turned away. "We'll see." Naruto scowled at Neji, shaking his fist until he felt a soft, female hand on his arm. He looked at the source of the arm, seeing Tenten's frowning face looking at his face. "Don't," her expression was telling him, "just stop." Naruto stopped, turning to the arena where he felt something familiar, something stronger coming to the arena. Naruto grinned and jumped from the stand, ignoring Sakura's yells, as he ran to where the proctor was located. The only thought on his mind was that he was here. Sasuke is here. The third Hokage sighed. Kakashi isn't here yet with Sasuke. He looked at the Kaze Kage, who insisted he want to see his daughter Temari fight against the last Uchiha, Sasuke. Then, he felt two familiar chakra signatures enter the field and he saw Naruto rushing toward the proctor. Hiruzen smiled and looked as leaves began to swarm around in the arena. Finally, he arrived. Sakura stared in wonder as leaves started to swarm and move around the arena. She finally smiled widely when she saw her sensei, Kakashi, and Sasuke with a black jumpsuit that held an Uchiha crest on the back. His bangs hung down longer on his face. "Sasuke-kun." "Sorry, we're so late," Kakashi replied coolly as always. Naruto grinned at the sight of the two while Hayate coughed and smiled slightly. "What is your name?" "Uchiha." "Sasuke," Sasuke said coolly as well as he saw Temari fall onto the ground of the arena. "It seems that your opponent is quite eager to face you, Sasuke," Kakashi said as he put his hand on Sasuke's shoulder and whispered something in his ear. "Got it," Sasuke said as Kakashi smiled at his student and went into smoke. Naruto grinned at Sasuke. "Were you just sweating in your boots about having to face her, team?" Sasuke smirked. "Yeah, right, dope, and judging by your attitude, you won your match." "Of course," Naruto smiled at Sasuke, before looking at Gaara like Sasuke was. "Don't lose to someone like him." "Yeah," Sasuke said in the same cool voice he used. Naruto thought for a moment as Temari was near them, ready to fight. "Sasuke." Sasuke looked at Naruto, waiting for what his teammate/rival would say. "I want to fight you as well." Sasuke merely smiled at Naruto and nodded as Naruto grinned and went on his way before Hayate got onto him. Temari smirked at the Uchiha. "So, you finally arrived." "Yeah," Sasuke said coolly before getting into a stance that looked familiar to Temari, but she couldn't place it. Match 5, Uchiha Sasuke vs Temari, begins. "Now," Hayate said, rushing away from the fight as Temari unleashed a wind technique from her fan. Sasuke quickly avoided the attack and rushed to Temari's side, kicking her into the ground. This shocked quite a few people. "Yo, guy, how are you doing and how's the leg, Lee?" Kakashi asked with his usual hand greeting. "You know that speed won't be enough to beat that Gaara," Guy said, knowing what Kakashi was thinking. "You'll see why we were so late in Sasuke's other match," Kakashi said. Right as Temari got up, she growled and unleashed another wind attack, only for Sasuke to flip through signs quickly and blew out a ball of fire. Temari was shocked when the fire took over the wind, rushing really fast to her. She barely dodged the incoming flames that grazed her and was shocked when Sasuke rushed at her and hit her into the air with a really powerful kick. She cursed when she lost grip of her fan and knew what Sasuke was doing when he was behind her suddenly. She smirked at what he was doing. "I already know what you are doing." This caused Sasuke to smirk, but can you hope to dodge it? Her eyes widened when he went at speeds that matched Lee, punching and kicking her down before doing a mighty drop kick on her. He rushed away and made a quick set of hand signs as he looked at the fallen Temari. He blew out a stream of flames right on Temari as dust, for some reason, filled the stadium. Temari rose from where she was, holding her precious fan, huffing out her breath. "As much as I hate to say it, the Uchiha will easily beat me. Plus I need to be in fighting condition to be able to fight when the invasion starts. I forfeit." This shocked many except Baki and Kankuro in the crowd and Gaara in the stands. Hayate coughed and, then, said, "Winner of match 5, Uchiha Sasuke." Cheers from the crowd filled the arena as Sasuke merely smirked, put his hands in his pockets, and walked to the stand where the competitors stood. Temari followed him slowly as she stood next to Gaara and Sasuke stood next to Naruto and Sakura. "Nice job, Sasuke-kun," Sakura said, cheerfully as Sasuke merely grunted in response. Next match, Sabaku no Gaara vs Yakushi Kabuto. Competitors come down to the floor to fight. Kabuto knew that his blood will rise during this match and he might screw up the plan. "I forfeit." Gaara stood impassive, but secretly glared as he didn't get to fight yet. This also meant, though, that he would face Sasuke when the round comes. He grinned devilishly at the thought of facing Uchiha Sasuke. We will have a short intermission before the first match of the second part of the tournament starts. The first match of this part will be Uzumaki Naruto vs Hyuga Neji, the next match will be Bushido Kisuke vs Haruno Sakura, and the last match of this part will be Uchiha Sasuke vs Sabaku no Gaara, Hayate yelled before going into a coughing fit. I wonder when Orochimaru will show his face. The Sandaime Hokage thought as he sighed. I have a feeling that I might not live through this day. Kakashi appeared before his students in the box. Nice job in getting this far, all of you. I'm really proud of you. He saw I smiling wider than usual. Now, just go and show everyone what you can do. Yes, sensei. They all said in unison for once as Kakashi smiled again and vanished from them. Neji just smirked at who he got to face. I'll show you your fate, Uzumaki Naruto. Show me your power, your existence, Uchiha Sasuke. Gaara thought, grinning manically. I'll show all of you what I'm capable of. Shanaro. Sakura thought as she looked fiercely ahead. I have the strangest feeling. Kisuke thought, looking to the arena floor. HNNN, Sasuke thought and, then, smirked, I can't wait to face Gaara. And, then, I'll be one step closer to facing Itachi. He clenched his fists and looked fiercely at the grinning Gaara. Time to show everyone who they used to underestimate can do now. Naruto thought as he smiled. Believe it. Those matches were pretty interesting, but the next match seems even better than the ones of the last round, Anaki said, knowing the next match was Hyuga Neji vs Uzumaki Naruto. Sarutobi chuckled, maybe. Hayate coughed and, then, yelled, the break is over now. It's time to start the next round of the Chunin exam tournament. Uzumaki Naruto, Hyuga Neji, come down to the arena. Neji smirked and walked as Naruto did too. Tension filled the arena as Naruto glared at his opponent and Neji merely smirked back. May the first match of the second round of the tournament, Uzumaki Naruto vs Hyuga Neji, begin, Hayate said before coughing as Neji and Naruto stared at each other, ready to fight. As I said to others, it is your fate to lose to me, Neji said, smirking at Naruto. Naruto merely smirked back, we'll see about that, alright. Naruto made a few shadow clones and zoomed in toward Neji. Neji had his Byakugan ready and was about to strike some of the Naruto clones when the Naruto in the back made a hand sign. Exploding shadow clone technique. Naruto had his clones explode, shocking Neji as he appeared with slight bruises and marks on his body and clothes after quickly uses his rotation technique. Yes, I caught him off guard. Good thing I learned that jutsu from that scroll, even though it took forever to learn compared to the wind techniques. The Fuinjutsu techniques were tricky at first, but I've got the hang of that too. Neji breathed heavily, looking at the blonde. He surprised me with the exploding shadow clone technique, but I could see him apply the chakra to cause the explosion. I did the rotation just in time to stop the clones from damaging me severely. I'll have to be more careful than I thought against him. From what I've heard from you, you're all about fate because your father turned himself into dye, because he was cursed with that caged bird mark that locked away his Byakugan. Just because you are all doom and gloom because you had that happen to you, doesn't mean you have to accuse people of being weak. Just because you're a genius doesn't mean you'll beat someone that's stupid. Naruto yelled at Neji, angering the Hyuga. What do you know of my fate? What do you know about me? What do you know about being branded with a curse, a seal that represents who and what you are to society? What do you know about anything like that? Neji yelled at Naruto, who stared at him, remembering the beast, the fox sealed inside him by his father. The seal branded on him and all the hate targeted at him. Just because he was faced with all this hatred, all this malevolence bottled and, then, released like kunai and shuriken at him doesn't mean he has to be like him, like Neji. Yeah, Naruto said, getting more of Neji's attention, I know exactly what it is like. This made Neji scowl and clench his hands into furious fists. And so what? Jerk. Neji thought as he got into his stance. 8 trigrams, 64 bombs. Neji rushed at Naruto, hitting the Jinchuriki with all this gentle fist strikes until hitting him in the chest with a final palm, causing Naruto to spew out a little blood from his mouth. Neji smirked at the boy as he weakly rose his head up. So, that's all you can do? Naruto smirked weakly at him, that's what you think. Neji was shocked when the Naruto before him vanished, showing it was a clone. Everyone was on the edge of their seat as Naruto suddenly appeared in front of Neji out of nowhere, a chakra sphere rotating in his hand. Neji's eyes widened. He used his transparency technique with his clone to appear in front of me to not allow me enough time to see and dodge or even use rotation to dodge this jutsu he made. Rasengan. Naruto violently pushed the orb into Neji's chest, causing him to be flung across the arena and shocking everyone that was there. Naruto breathed heavily after uses the chakra sphere, smiling at what he did. I didn't think I would have to use the Rasengan this early and reveal it, but I wanted to be able to end this quickly so I can face against the others in the last round. Hayate coughed. I wonder how that boy learned the 4th Hokage's jutsu. Winner, Uzumaki Naruto. Everyone in the audience began to cheer while Danzo looked at the match from a secluded area in the arena after he decided to go ahead and watch some of the matches with his own eyes. He looked at Naruto with narrowed eyes. Damn you, Hiruzen, why won't you allow me to train this boy? It seems you allowed that student of yours Jiraiya teach him from seeing him summon Game Abunta and use the Rasengan. Soon enough, I'll have that fox under my control. Just wait Hiruzen, Naruto. A new era of Konoha is coming. The Shimura Danzo era, the era everyone in Konoha will acknowledge as the best time in the history of Konohagakure. Hiruzen Sarutobi looked shocked at Naruto from where he sat, still remembering what had happened in the match that had just taken place. I can't believe Jiraiya was able to teach Naruto the Rasengan that took Minato 3 years to master. He only had a month to teach Naruto, yet it seems Naruto not only learned the summoning technique and Jiraiya's transparency technique, but the Rasengan as well. It seems he still is holding back, I can feel that. Aniki of both scales looked down at the boy. That kid. He's a lot more fun than I thought, a mixture of Uzumaki Kushina and Namikaze Minato definitely. Aniki grinned looking at the cheering victor. It'll be interesting to see what he becomes. So Jiraiya was able to teach Naruto the Rasengan. Kakashi thought, his hand tightening. I was only able to increase Sasuke's speed to Lee's style, which is still a giant feat, and the Chidori, another jutsu that he wouldn't learn if he didn't have the Sharingan. Did I waste that time when I could have taught Sasuke even more? Naruto. Sasuke looked at his teammate, his hands tightening into fists, his eyes glaring at the figure that was approaching where he stood, looking at the fallen Neji. How did you get this strong? What are you, Uzumaki Naruto? Truly what are you? Chapter 20, Let the Invasion Begin. The ending of the Chunin exam. Naruto was looking down at Neji as medical ninja took him on a stretcher. Neji looked weak, wounded, and because of that, he was furious on the inside. He got beat by an idiot, the dead last of the last year graduates of the academy. He got defeated by Uzumaki Naruto. He felt himself being moved on the stretcher but could only look at the face that beat him, that conquered while he fell like a defeated dog. How? Neji said very weakly to Naruto, staring into the boy's cerulean eyes, calm yet fierce, happy yet holding a feeling of darkness and sadness. Back in the academy, I used to fail the graduation exam because the one jutsu needed to pass I could never get right at all. That jutsu was the clone technique. So, stop talking about fate and destiny, because unlike me, you're not a failure. Naruto said as Hayate coughed and smiled at the two Genin. Those two. Hayate thought as his coughing disturbed his thought. No. The whole new generation of Konohagakure shinobi will lead us to a greater time in the village's history. I know it. Please, Uzumaki Naruto, go back to the stands so we can move on to the next match. Hayate spoke. Alright, Naruto said as he walked to the stands only to stop when he was close to the place where he would walk up to where the other examinees would be to see Neji being taken to heal and Hinata's father, Neji's father's twin brother, walked down toward him. Naruto, then, turned as he heard Hayate call down his teammate and Kisuke and ran up to the stand where everyone else would be. Man, Shikamaru said, sighing as he remembered Naruto and his fight, it seems Naruto isn't an unslick guy like I am after all. That match blew everyone away. I'm surprised Naruto had that in him. Sasuke heard this and his fists tightened. Naruto. Sakura and Kisuke went down that stairs to the arena to see Naruto, smiling and grinning like usual, running up the stairs. He looked up and saw Sakura and his smile widened into a full-blown grin. Hey, Sakura-chan, Naruto yelled out happily like an impatient child. He rushed up to his teammate, still smiling. What did you think about my match? Sakura looked at him for a second and smiled slightly. He's getting a lot stronger. Her smile faded for a second. I'm kind of jealous of him. Getting exceedingly stronger, yet I feel like I'm nowhere near Naruto's or Sasuke-kun's level in strength. Her smile appeared on her face again when she noticed Naruto's worried expression. Yeah, you're definitely stronger, Naruto. Great job out there. Naruto grinned even bigger, if that was even possible. Thanks, Sakura-chan. I hope you do your best and win your match too. And, then maybe, Team 7 will be the only ones left in the exam. Kisuke laughed. We'll see about that, Naruto. After all, she's facing me. Though I wish you luck in our match, Sakura. Sakura was shocked. Why? I just hope we both do our best. It doesn't matter who wins as long as we show our skills, Kisuke said, but was also thinking about something entirely different. The Tsuchikage told us that he was suspicious of Orochimaru and the sound invading Konohagakure when he talked to Hiruzen about coming over here to see me and Washimura participate. Washimura is not in the best shape at all, so he'll have to rely on me and the other shinobi he sent in secret. Sakura smiled at the Genin. Yeah, let's do our best. Kisuke smiled. Yep, let's do just that. Well, see ya, Sakura, Naruto said, running past and waving at his female teammate, who smiled lightly and waved back. She, then, turned and grew serious. Time to shine. Kisuke looked at the arena as they passed the doorway, wanting to finish this match as quick as possible without showing off too many skills. 30. Do you think it's time to invade? A sound ninja asked their leader, anxious to kill some Konohagakure shinobi. No, we'll know when it happens, the leader of the group of 5 said as he looked at the arena, seeing a pink-haired kunoichi dodging a samurai-like ninja's blade slices and striking him with a high-powered punch. Both seemed to be getting worn out as the samurai-like shinobi decided to give up while secretly eyeing the Kaze Kage and Tsuchikage. It should be when Kabuto unleashes the genjutsu so we can attack the stadium easier. The pink-haired kunoichi cheered as she ran to the stands as the Uchiha and the Jinchuriki sign of the Kaze Kage went down to the arena. I heard it was going to be after or in the middle of the Uchiha's fight. One of the Otogakure shinobi spoke as another nodded afterward. Yeah, I heard that too. Shut up! The leader yelled, glaring at them with fierce eyes of a predator, and the others cowered and shook like prey. Let's just enjoy these Genin fight. I hear one of them has caught our Orochimaru's eye, that last Uchiha. Let's see how well he does. The other ninja nodded vigorously and watched the Uchiha and Jinchuriki stare at each other as the coughing proctor announced the beginning of the long-awaited match. Let it begin. 30. Kabuto-eyed Sasuke moved back, looking disgusted with what Gaara was talking about, something about his mother and that Sasuke's blood is what she wanted. Kabuto secretly smirked near the others as he was just a shadow clone while his real self was disguised as an Anbu that Konohagakure would have guarded the arena in case something happened. Little did they know what exactly was going to happen very soon. He pretended to look surprised as Sasuke moved with speeds of Lee and started to attack Gaara. He slightly looked to see Naruto, his hand clamping around the rail as he watched what was happening. Suddenly Naruto said something to Sakura and went up the stairs to the stands where all the others were. Sakura called her teammate's name and raced after him. Kabuto turned his attention to the match, not concerning himself at all with the two. He smirked secretly again when he saw Gaara become surrounded by a dome. Very soon. 30. As Sasuke went to the side of the stadium, making hand signs for his technique, Hatake Kakashi looked to see his other students rush toward him. He smiled at them and lifted his hand in greeting. Yo, what's up guys? Kakashi asked as Naruto stopped breathing heavily and looked at his sensei. We need to stop this match, Naruto yelled at one of his teachers, surprising everyone. Naruto. Sakura was shocked. What do you mean? Naruto was too focused on his sensei to pay attention to Sakura. If you let Sasuke continue this match, Gaara will kill him. You really feel that way about Sasuke's abilities and how I trained him? Kakashi asked his student. You're the one that doesn't understand, Kakashi-sensei. He lives just to kill people, Naruto yelled at his sensei. That's the only way he lives. Don't you get? Be quiet, Kakashi yelled at Naruto, shocking his students. There was a reason we were so late. Guy's eyes widened at what Kakashi was saying and looked to see Sasuke have a blade of lightning on his palm, smirking at the dome that contained Gaara as he started to rush down at his opponent. You didn't teach him. Sakura gasped. I can see Sasuke's chakra in that technique. Yes I did, Kakashi stated looking at Sasuke. Teach Sasuke what? Sakura asked. The one move that Kakashi created by himself. It's a chop, but a very powerful chop that needs to be focused precisely. With the Sharingan, Kakashi was able to perfect it, Guy said as he saw Sasuke weave into the dome of Gaara's. That move is called. Sasuke pierced the dome and Naruto and others had a shocked face on. Chidori, 1000 birds. 30. I'm getting the strangest feeling. I have to check on the Tsuchikage. Kisuke thought as he rushed to the stand where the Kages were gathered. It seems it's time. Baki thought as he saw the disguised Kabuto make a hand sign and feathers started to fall onto the arena. Everyone was surprised by this as most of the spectators and some shinobi passed out. It's. Guy started as he made the hand sign to release the genjutsu. A genjutsu, yes. Kakashi finished, making the same hand sign and Sakura did the same as Naruto passed out with Ino and Choji. Kai release. Kabuto's clone burst out of existence as Temari, Kankuro and Baki went to the injured Gaara. Damn it, Baki said as he looked at Gaara. He tried to become possessed but since he got injured it stopped. You guys go off with Gaara and get out of here. I'll deal with the shinobi here. Do you really think I'll let you guys go? Baki turned to see the coughing Hayate with a wild laugh. Do you really think you can beat me, You sickly proctor? Hayate pulled out a katana and looked fiercely at Baki. Don't underestimate me or any other Konoha shinobi. Get out of here, Temari, Kankuro, Baki yelled at them, causing them to flinch at his tone. Yes, sensei. Temari and Kankuro said as they rushed away from the arena with Gaara and Do. Wait, Sasuke said, chasing after them as Baki was about to strike him down with a wind blade, but Hayate Gecko looked to see Namiyashi Raito counter Baki's invisible blade with his ebony blade. Baki was shocked and Sasuke was as well, standing still, looking at Raito. What are you just standing there for? Raito yells at Sasuke, who flinches back a little. Go after them. Sasuke nodded and raced off as Raito looked at the still surprised Baki. So, you use wind to create an invisible blade to strike, just the kind of technique from a Sunagakure ninja, a deadly wind-style technique. Just watch out, Hayate-san. Hayate coughed, and then nodded at Raito. Alright, I will. Thanks, Raito-san. Baki cursed his luck at dealing with two Konoha ninja as he saw Hayate pull out a blade. Let me deal with him, Raito-san, Hayate said as he rushed at Baki. Dance of 3 days moon. Hayate was shocked when his blade got stuck inside Baki's armor. Hayate struggled to get his sword out of the armor as Baki chuckled, preparing a wind blade. You have quite the fancy blade and technique, but you will still fall to mine. The wind blade struck Hayate, cutting right through him as he screamed Raito's name. Baki had his eyes wide as he saw the angry eyes of Raito, his ebony blade up above him to lay down a strike. He quickly and swiftly struck Baki with his black blade, crimson life escaping from the sand shinobi as he fell to his knees, coughing his blood out, and he began to feel weak. Damn it! Raito looked down at Baki with eyes of a killer, fierce and uncaring as he sliced off Baki's head, officially ending the Suna shinobi's life. Raito looked to see a group of Otogakure and Sunagakure ninja around him, and Shiranui Genma joined him, throwing senbon at the enemies in fatal places. Yamushiro Aoba joined him, using his scattering thousand crows technique to attack enemies while hidden in the birds. Let's show the sound and sand how we do it here in Konohagakure, Genma said, and Aoba and Raito nodded as they rushed into action, ready to defeat enemies against their village. 30. So, you're the one that did the genjutsu? The masked Kabuto looked over to who was talking to him, surprised to see Akiraka Kisuke, one blade unsheathed, its tip dangerously close to Kabuto's neck. Many Konohagakure shinobi and Otogakure ninja were shocked that this Shinon came so close to this Anbu imposter. Kabuto smiled underneath his mask. It seems that you were hiding your power in case something like this happened. That's why you decided to give up in your mask against Haruno Sakura. You must have been informed by your Tsuchikage of what could possibly happen that he heard from the third Hokage. You're quite smarter than you seem. You are also quite smart. Using a shadow clone replacement so you could participate a little, so it seemed like you wanted to pass yet hid yourself to start the invasion by disguising yourself as an Anbu, and used a genjutsu to take out some of the shinobi forces and bystanders that can cancel out genjutsu. Quite clever of a plan you had, eh, Yakashi Kabuto? Kabuto merely smirked underneath his mask, his blood rising, making him want to fight. It seems you are looking for a fight. Kisuke merely smirked back. What if I am? Kabuto merely made hand signs, chakra scalpels appearing around his hands. Then, that's what you'll get. Don't go crying to me once you feel my true power. Kisuke merely sent chakra to his blade, a blue aura surrounding it. I could say the same thing. 30. Don't be like this, Kaze Kage Dono. We could do some peace negotiations. We don't have to resort to this mayhem. The Kaze Kage left as he jumped up with third Hokage and third Tsuchikage to the roof. 4 shinobi surrounded the corners of the roof. Do it. 4 flames formation. The 4 sound shinobi made a barrier to block out the Anbu that tried to get to the third Hokage. Why are you doing this, Kaze Kage Dono? Sarutobi said, and he heard more chuckling from the cage's mouth. You surely have gotten peace-loving the older you've gotten, eh, Sarutobi-sensei? Sorutobi's eyes widened as he glared at his captor. Your Anaki had his hand surrounded by rock as he rushed and punched the Kaze Kage right in the face, making him fall onto the ground, no longer threatening the third Hokage with a kunai to his neck. So, if you're not the Kaze Kage, where is he now? Anaki asked as the Kaze Kage rose from the ground, chuckling and having his hand grip his face. Orochimaru. The third Hokage said as the Kaze Kage revealed his true self to be one of the Sennin, Orochimaru. I knew this day would come eventually. So, now it's time to solve the error of the mistakes I've made. Today is the day you will die, Orochimaru. He gripped his hat and threw it off with his ropes to reveal his black combat outfit. You know me after all, Sarutobi-sensei, Orochimaru chuckled as he stretched out his arms. I just love to see things in motion. When there's something motionless, it's boring. I want to set things in motion with this invasion of Konoha. He smiled widely at Sarutobi, who merely smiled nostalgically at his former student. You haven't changed a bit. Sarutobi looked to see Orochimaru make some hand signs. Just for you, sensei, I'll let you feel the pleasure of destroying the ones you called sensei, just like I am doing today. He made a series of hand signs as Aniki rushed at him with Sarutobi behind him. Impure World Resurrection. Orochimaru smiled when one coffin rose above the ground. Sarutobi's eyes widened. He's not doing that, is he? The second coffin. Orochimaru's smile grew even wider as he looked at his former sensei doing hand signs. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. Sarutobi looked to see that his shuriken stopped the third coffin but stood still as Aniki stood by him as well. Orochimaru sinisterly chuckled. Come out, First Lord Hokage, Second Lord Hokage. Hashirama and Tobirama appeared out of the coffins to look at a crying Sarutobi. They look exactly as they did all those years ago. You dare do this, Orochimaru? It seems you have aged, Sarutobi. Hashirama spoke. Indeed, Tobirama said. A reunion, Orochimaru laughed. How sweet it is. Aniki yelled at Sarutobi, get a grip, Sarutobi. Those two have long been dead. So, someone used the Impure World Resurrection, Tobirama said, wondering who was using his created technique. That would be me, Orochimaru said as he put the talismans into the two resurrected Hokages as they became killing machines. Go, get ready, Sarutobi. Here they come. Aniki and Sarutobi were prepared for the fight of their life. 30. Sakura. Sakura looked at her sensei, cutting and tearing shinobi with kunais in his hands. Yes, Kakashi-sensei? I'll need you to get Naruto and Shikamaru up and take them with you to track down Sasuke since he went after Gaara and his team. I'll summon Pakun as the fourth member of your squad to help track down Sasuke since he knows his scent. Kakashi summoned Pakun as Sakura nodded and released the genjutsu on Naruto. Sakura-chan? What's happening? Naruto asked in shock before seeing her rush to Shikamaru's location to see he was actually up. Get up. She threw a chakra punch at Shikamaru, waking him up. Troublesome. I was trying to get some sleep, Shikamaru said, looking at Sakura. I already know about this mission and I don't want to do it. What mission? Naruto asked, a sound ninja behind him. Naruto. Sakura screamed at him until Guy crushed the ninja through the wall. Yosh. Another down, Guy said as he went back into action. Sakura will explain the mission. Just go through that hole. Pakun will lead the way. But, Naruto said until he felt Sakura's weight pull him through the hole. No time. Let's go, Sakura said as she rushed Naruto through. Shikamaru sighed, troublesome. He followed them while an unknown group of sound shinobi followed them. Asuma went right behind them, ready to assist if need be. 30. I'll settle with him. Go on ahead to Gaara, Uchiha Sasuke. Aburame Shino spoke as Sasuke nodded and raced past Kankuro to Gaara and Tamari. Alright, just join me when you can, Sasuke yelled back. Can do, Shino said, bugs appearing out of his sleeves, ready to strike. Chapter 21. The Invasion, the Tanuki and the Fox, the Sensei and the Student. Earth Release, Mud Wall Technique. Sarutobi sent a mud wall as Tobirama did a series of hand signs. Water Release, Water Dragon Missile Technique. Tobirama sent the dragon that crashed against the wall. Wood Release Secret Technique, Nativity of a World of Trees. Hashirama made hand signs as trees surrounded Aniki and Sarutobi into a cage. Sarutobi quickly made hand signs and summoned Enma as he and Aniki got away from the cage of wood. The third Hokage stared fiercely at the chuckling Orochimaru and the previous Hokages and charged with Aniki. Hashirama looked at them and made some hand signs. Bringer of Darkness Technique. Hashirama casted Sarutobi and Aniki in darkness only for them to hear darkness and chuckling as punches were landing on them. Orochimaru kept taunting Sarutobi, who was remembering the village, the people, the place that he held dear in his heart. You don't understand what it means to be a Hokage, Orochimaru. Let me teach you what it means with a jutsu you have never seen before. Orochimaru was intrigued by a technique he's never seen before. Show me this jutsu. Let me see it. Sarutobi made shadow clones, shocking Enma, who was in staff form. You don't mean to use that, Sarutobi? I do. Sarutobi stared fiercely at the darkness as he made the long series of hand signs. I'm going to end this now. Show me this jutsu you speak of, Sarutobi-sensei. The third Hokage clapped his hands. Dead Demon Consuming Seal. A demon appeared behind Sarutobi as he had his clones rush in direction of the first and second Hokage. He shortly captured the two in his jutsu, causing the darkness to disappear. Orochimaru was surprised when the darkness disappeared to reveal Sarutobi sealing the Hokages inside him. How is he doing this? Orochimaru thought as he looked at Sarutobi angrily and barely dodged Aniki's dust technique. Sarutobi had tears coming out of his eyes as he saw Zaku and Kin on the ground, dead from being used to revive the Hokages. So, that's who you truly are, you don't care about any of your people. He rushed at Orochimaru, twirling his staff with ease as Orochimaru parried with his blade until he was almost hit with a dust technique, knocking his blade from his hands. The Sennin was surprised when a wickedly smiling Sarutobi appeared in front of him, holding him as he felt something going inside him, trying to tear his soul away. "What are you doing to me?" This jutsu is called the Dead Demon Consuming Seal, the very jutsu used to seal the nine-tailed fox. Orochimaru's eyes widened. "No," he yelled, scared of what Sarutobi was trying to do. "I won't let you take me with you, old man. Die." He sent his blade crashing into Sarutobi as Enma failed to grab the sword in order for it not to stab Sarutobi. "You are stubborn, Orochimaru. I'll give you that. But you will die by our hands today," Anaki said, a technique, a cube-like structure in his hands, launched at the two. Sarutobi was shocked as he had Enma stop the technique. "Let me settle this, Anaki." "You will fail, Sarutobi," Anaki yelled at the Hokage. "I'll give you a worse fate than death, Orochimaru." Sarutobi spoke, ignoring Anaki. "I'll take all of your jutsu away by sealing your hands." Orochimaru shook in outrage, in horror. "Stop, you feeble old man." "Seal," Sarutobi yelled as the sword came down on Orochimaru's soul, sealing Orochimaru's hands away. Sarutobi smiled in accomplishment as he fell onto the ground and Orochimaru yelled at him. "Quit smiling, old man. Give me back my arms," Orochimaru yelled as he saw Anaki generate his dust technique and the barrier come down. Kidomaru appeared in front of Orochimaru as the others carried Orochimaru away. "Spiderweb net." He shot a web at Anaki to distract him and rushed with the others. "Damn it, Sarutobi-sensei," Orochimaru thought as he rushed off with the other shinobi of sound and sand that retreated. 30. Naruto was sitting at the base of a tree after being the decoy for his group. He gazed at the sky, remembering how Asuma saved him from that group of sound shinobi. That was a close one. 30. Aburame Shino was up, looking at his father that saved him. "I hope Uchiha Sasuke is alright." Little did he know that Sasuke was lying on a tree branch as a partially possessed Gaara rushed at him only to be saved by Naruto and Sakura trapped in the sand of Gaara. 30. Damn it! Uzumaki Naruto thought as he looked at whom he had to face. He saw Sasuke looking at him as Gaara merely smiled wickedly at him. How could I win against him? He is so much like me yet so different. He had been living in the darkness, growing off that darkness, the place I used to be. I can't defeat him. Sand Shuriken. Naruto felt the fierce sand crash into him, crash him into a tree. Naruto slowly got up onto his feet, hearing Sasuke call out his voice. Yet I don't want to lose to him even if I die. Naruto looked fiercely at Gaara, who merely smirked amused at him. So, he's finally getting riled up. Sand Shuriken. Naruto got pushed into Sasuke, who failed to catch him that well. "Naruto, you take Sakura once she's freed and get out of here while I distract Gaara." When Sasuke said this it surprised Naruto as Sasuke stood as well as he could. "I don't want any more of my precious comrades to die before my eyes." Naruto looked at Gaara and realized something. Love isn't a weakness, it's strength. Sasuke looked confused as Naruto looked fiercely at Gaara, forming a hand sign. Chakra surrounded him, power covered him, blowing Sasuke away. Is this really Naruto? Multiple shadow clone technique. Thousands of clones surrounded the field surprising everyone there as Naruto smirked. "I'm getting serious now." He ripped off his seals that sealed away his Kekkei Genkais. Chains expanded from his fingers, wind chakra surrounding them in a cloak. "Get ready cause here we come." The chains whipped around Gaara, wind chakra tearing at the partially transformed Jinchuriki. He shrieked at how this boy was starting to defeat him. "I won't be defeated by someone like him." He blew away all the clones that were about to strike him down and became fully transformed into Shukaku. Naruto was shocked and looked up at Gaara's new form as he raised his hand at Naruto. Sand began to surround Naruto, who did a bunch of hand signs. "Face my Kekkei Genkai." Naruto thought as he had the wind blow Gaara's sand away. He used the wind to float on air as he rushed at the transformed Shukaku. He had chains coming out his body, capturing the transformed Gaara in chains. "I refuse. I refuse to be defeated," Gaara said at first but then started to laugh, shocking Naruto, Temari, and Sasuke. Gaara appeared out of Shukaku and stared at the levitating Naruto. "Interesting, Uzumaki Naruto, interesting. To pushing me this far, I'll release Shukaku for you." "Well. Shit." Naruto took some of the Kyuubi's chakra and started to make hand signs, blood coming from his thumb. Summoning technique. Sleeping possum technique. Gaara fell asleep as Shukaku awoke, tearing the chains like they were paper, and Gamabanta appeared. Woohoo! Straight out of the gate, I see someone I want to kill. Game a bunch of sweat dropped. You just had to send me out at a situation like this, Gaki. He breathed out water bullets as Shukaku breathed out air bullets. Damn, he's canceling out all the bullets. The best way to stop him is wake up the host, as that will cause Shukaku to go back into the seal. Alright, you distract him while I go wake Gaara up, Naruto said, floating on the air and rushing behind Shukaku unseen. He appeared behind Gaara, rushing forward, sand trying to grip at him, but his wind made it so the sand couldn't touch him. Part of the sand slipped past the wind and gripped Naruto's raised hand as Naruto stared at the sleeping Gaara. Wake up! Naruto pulled his forehead back, chakra surrounding him as he moved his head forward. You brute! Shukaku stopped as he crumpled into sand, and Gamabunta chuckled at the falling kid as he caught him and laid him softly on the ground. An unorthodox shinobi he is. But he'll definitely be a shinobi of legend someday. I bet. He vanished in a puff of smoke as Sasuke appeared to save the falling Sakura and looked at the fallen Naruto, who was moving with his chin. A dramatic moment it was indeed. Stop, don't come any further. Why do you have such strength? Gaara yelled at him, confused. Naruto looked at Gaara with melancholy eyes, tears about to burst. I know what it is like to be alone, to be unwanted, to be uncared for, but then I found people that cared about me and I care about them. His eyes turned fierce for a second. And I'll do anything to protect them even if I die. Gaara looked shocked. Why will you do that much for them? Because if it wasn't for them, I would still be in the darkness, I would still be in fear, in anger, in sadness. They lead me out of the darkness and the sadness, and I will do anything to not go back there again. Kankuro and Temari appear before Gaara as Sasuke did for Naruto. Naruto, Sakura is alright now, you can rest now, Sasuke said to his teammate. Oh, goody, Naruto replied, smiling as he fell asleep, and Gaara looked at the boy as Temari and Kankuro helped him up. Let's go, Kankuro, Temari, Gaara said as they took off carrying him. Love, huh? Gaara thought, thinking about Naruto's strength. Temari, Kankuro. His brother and sister looked at him. I'm sorry. The two looked surprised. It's alright, Gaara. They raced off, wondering what would happen in the future. 30. Naruto. Naruto looked at his teammates Sakura and Sasuke as they were looking at the grave, the coffin of Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Sundaime Hokage. They all remembered the happy times, from Jiraiya with the Genin exam he had with him to Iruka talking with him about being the class clown. Naruto looked sadly at the face of the person he thought of as a grandfather as he placed a flower down. Naruto. He looked back to see Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi waiting for him. Let's go. Naruto smiled, his headband on his neck moved with his movements as he said goodbye to Iruka, who smiled at Naruto running, grinning at his teammates and sensei. Lord Hokage, the little Konoha buds are growing up. Thanks to you. They are blooming forth, and with that blooming shall rise a new Hokage. I know this chapter was short, but I wanted to end the invasion as quick as possible, and it was pretty much the same as in the manga except a few differences. I have some ideas to make the Tsunade arc a little different, and, then, I already have a big difference and twist planned for the Sasuke retrieval arc. Thanks for reading and giving me your words and advice. The next chapter will have some more about the after effects of the invasion and the beginning of the Tsunade arc. That's the end, guys. If you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a comment. This is Chaos Shinobi signing off.